A search continues to find a Northwest suburban native who went missing in Hawaii a week ago. Authorities say Kelly Mrowinski went hiking near a falls in Hilo when she was swept away in a nearby river. The Schaumburg high grad was working as a travel nurse at the Hilo Medical Center at the time of her disappearance. Well, if you're Dan Biss, this is good news. Moving up in the Democratic race for Illinois governor. Handful of new polls, including one released yesterday by J.B. Pritzker's own campaign, puts Biss in comfortable second place. An independent study of the Cook County property tax system that could prove politically troublesome for Assessor Joe Berrios is being delayed till the end of February. Berrios is also the Cook County Democratic Party chairman and faces two primary opponents, but by the time the study is released, early voting will have already begun. The Eagles are back, thousands of them in the Quad Cities and along the Mississippi and Rock Rivers. They've counted almost 2,200 Eagles along a 1-mile stretch. Last year, only 957 Eagles showed up on that stretch of the Mississippi and Rock Rivers. Canucks scored twice in the second and third periods, pulling out a 4-2 win over the Blackhawks. It's take two of the Bulls Pelicans Nikola Mirotic trade, and it is a go. Mirotic to New Orleans for former Bull Omar Asik, some other players, and a lightly protected first-round pick. College hoops, Northwestern top Wisconsin. It's a big win in the Big Ten, 60-52. Tonight, UIC visits Oakland. Tomorrow, DePaul and Butler, and Notre Dame and NC State. The news, a service of Rocket Mortgage by Quicken. Rocket Mortgage is simple, so you can understand the details and be sure you're getting the right mortgage. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Visit rocketmortgage.com today. Licensed in all 50 states. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 3030. 507. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
In just 1 year, the president has accomplished so much.
We have created 2.4 million new jobs. Unemployment claims have hit a 45-year low. We enacted the biggest tax cuts and reforms in American history.
Working toward one common goal.
To make America great again for all Americans.
What will the next 3 years look like? Follow the journey right here. AM 560, The Answer.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
True story. So I urged one of my family members to call CertaPro Painters. He didn't do it, and that painting crew had to come back 3 times to fix their awful, sloppy mistakes, even paint on the floor, if you can believe it. Well, with CertaPro Painters, you get the best in the business. The attention to detail, color selection is truly unmatched. And now is the perfect time to get the interior of your home or business painted. The lower humidity provides an ideal environment for great coverage and quick drying times. They use fine quality paints with 0 or low VOCs, very little to no odor during application. Be an early bird and cross the first item off your 2018 to-do list. It's also the perfect time to spruce up your commercial property. Remember, each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated, so schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with the C. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
509. Let's get an update on the roads this morning. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, a happy Groundhog Day to Jim Talamonte.
Happy Groundhog Day, Mike. Good morning. We had a lot of overnight road work on the expressways. Most of it is now gone. There is still some work on the outbound Rhine again this morning. 87th to the split, the 3 left lanes. Inbound Kennedy, the ramp to the outbound Eisenhower has just reopened, along with the off-ramps at Randolph, Adams, and Jackson. Inbound Eisenhower, we see a delay now from Harlem to Oak Park Avenue. Got a crash. 2 left lanes are blocked. It's 31 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound fine at 29. That one just happened. The other expressways and tollways are looking good at this hour. We'll have Wolves traffic tonight around Allstate Arena. Chicago's home against Milwaukee this evening. Traffic is a service of Pringles. When you stack up different flavors of Pringles, you create amazing new flavors. Stack up cheddar cheese, jalapeno, and French onion dip Pringles. You've got yourself a 3-layer dip stack, which makes you a genius. Stack different flavors, create endless new ones with Pringles. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer is next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Straight from Gobbler's Knob, here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, cold with sunshine mixing with some clouds, high 20. Tonight, mostly cloudy and seasonably cold, a low 16, but temperature will rise into the lower 20s overnight. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
5 at O'Hare, 7 along the lakefront. It is 4 above in Aurora this morning, and your next news update is at 5:30. Breaking news as it happens. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
Once a year, the eyes of the nation turn to this tiny hamlet in western Pennsylvania to watch a master at work. The master? Punxsutawney Phil, the world's most famous weatherman, the groundhog, who, as legend has it, can predict the coming of an early spring. So I guess the question we have to ask ourselves today is, does Phil feel lucky?
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and in for Amy again this morning. Amy's a little bit under the weather. She is Kristen McQuarrie, Chicago Tribune editorial board, and I certainly hope, not that I'm one for such superstitions, but I certainly hope Phil does not see his shadow so I can get back on the golf course and get out of these bone-chilling temperatures like we have today.
It is brutal.
Yeah.
It is awful. So when do we find out about the shadow? What happens? Does this happen?
Everything I know about Groundhog Day I learned from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't give you exacts.
That's right, woodchuck chuckers. It's Groundhog Day! Get up and check that hog out there! Yeah! Come here, Groundhog!
Yeah, that's the extent of what I can contribute, essentially. But I know there are some interesting factoids about Groundhog Day.
Let's hear them.
That you were researching. Didn't always involve groundhogs. Can be traced back to a Christian holiday called Candlemas Day. What did you get for Candlemas Day this year?
A baby groundhog.
They're
cute. They're actually cute little animals.
Phil's robust, though, isn't he? He's
hopefully robust enough to withstand. Remember the groundhog who died a few years ago? Bill de Blasio, I think.
Oh, yeah, it was a murder.
Right.
De Blasio killed him.
He dropped the groundhog during the ceremony, and then a week later, the groundhog died. Her name was Charlotte. It was really
De Blasio.
R.I.P.
De Blasio never charged either.
No, he wasn't, but he killed the animal with his own hands.
I mean, I remember just growing up saying Punxsutawney Phil was always Rubenesque.
Yes. We'll have to see. I bet it'll happen at, 8 Central Time or something.
Candlemas Day, tracing the roots of Groundhog Day. I know you find this fascinating.
I sent you those factoids, but I did not read them.
That's how fascinating. That's how compelled you were by all the history, the rich history of Groundhog Day. The midway point between the winter solstice and the spring equinox, members of the clergy would bless and distribute candles needed to get people through the remaining winter days. I think we should revive that tradition. The tradition went that winter would drag on if Candlemas Day dawned sunny and clear, but spring would come soon if the weather was cloudy. Huh.
Mm-hmm. It always feels backwards, right? You'd think when it sees its shadow, that means the sun is shining and spring is around the corner, but it's the opposite.
Also, you may not know, in addition to the fact that there's likely been more than one Groundhog Phil, of course, they do get old. They do pass on to Groundhog Heaven. Punxsutawney Phil is married. He and his wife Phyllis live together. Unlike most groundhogs, which hibernate through the winter, his minder says they're kept in an environment with enough light and heat to keep them awake for Groundhog Day on February 2nd, albeit they're a little lethargic and sleepy.
Thank you, Dan.
I want to
Thank
know.
you for that.
I want to learn more about Phyllis. Kind of gal she is. Yeah, it's interesting. All right, so there's everything you ever wanted to know and so much more about Groundhog Day.
We will keep everyone posted as to when we find out.
More interested in finding out the January jobs numbers this morning, or whether Phil sees a shadow? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Now that we've had our little fun, Miss McQuarrie.
Now we got to get serious.
We're going to have to talk about all of the histrionics surrounding the release of the memo, which is also supposed to come today. What a eventful day. You got Phil, you got January jobs numbers, and you got the hashtag release the memo. So much to talk about, and we'll pick up the memo after this.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Your weather forecast today. Cold, with sunshine mixing with some clouds, high of 20 only. Tonight, we're going to drop to about 16 degrees, and tomorrow, mostly cloudy, not as cold, a little snow. Let's see how the roads are with Jim Talamonte. Is Jim here? Roads, traffic. Hello.
Sorry about that, Kristen. We had a momentary disappearance of our on button, but it's back. Good morning. Sorry about that, and happy Groundhog Day to both of you. Things are pretty quiet, except on the inbound Eisenhower. Got a crash at Oak Park Avenue. It has quickly cleared out of the way with IDOT crews there present on this chilly morning. 32 minutes is the travel time, 390 to downtown. It is heavy still from Des Plaines Avenue to Oak Park Avenue. There is road work on the outbound Ryan. 87th split, 3 left lanes, still 6 this morning. Not seeing any delays there. Otherwise, it's cold. Traffic's light on the other expressways and tollways. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning on this show, long-form interviews, and our Against the Current series featuring opinion leaders and policymakers. 2-minute warnings about bad actors in Illinois politics and public policy from Pat Hughes at the Illinois Opportunity Project. My 60 Seconds of Sanity commentaries, podcast of our Illinois Rising program covering state policy and politics, which airs on these airwaves Sundays at 3 p.m. And our new series, Heart of the Matter, featuring professional women speaking collegially about the salient issues of the day and impacts on families and household budgets. And then don't forget our sister site, defendhomeowners.com, defendhomeowners.com, where you get a free property tax report. Just type in your address, get a free property tax report on your home, see what the highest property taxes in the nation are doing to your home equity, where the money's going. It's fascinating. You can get all of the property tax info at defendhomeowners.com, and we have new regional analyses forthcoming with a look at some median home sale prices around Chicago and the collars last year. And then everything else, all the other premium content you get at upstream-ideas.com.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but as you grew up, things changed. Teaching just didn't seem like the best option anymore, so you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Interesting and innovative things are happening in teaching today, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Andrea Kashaba, owner of Tulane & Associates, an accounting and tax service in Elk Grove Village. If you're a small business, feeling snubbed or overcharged by your current accounting firm, I invite you to give us a try. You shouldn't have to feel overlooked by your current tax accountant because you're a small business. Small businesses and individuals are my specialty. I will always treat you and your business with respect, and we'll take care of as much or as little as you'd like us to do. From payroll to sales taxes, financial statements to business and personal taxes, projections, or bookkeeping services. Call Tulane & Associates at 847-952-1510 or visit TulaneandAssociates.com. That's THULIN, Tulane & Associates. Get a no-cost 1-hour initial consultation that could change the way you do business. Call 847-952-1510. That's 847-952-1510.
AM 560. The Answer.
Then put your little hand in mine. There ain't no hill or mountain we can't climb.
Dan and in for Amy this morning, Kristen McQuarrie from the Trib Ed Board. We do have some reactions. I don't know that people... They're familiar with Punxsutawney Phil. I don't know that they knew much about Phyllis, and so people are interested in his wife, Phyllis. Randy and Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, guys. Dan, you've done a disservice to all of humanity with Punxsutawney Phil. Now the feminazis will all be out wanting to replace Phil with Phyllis. You have really done us a disservice, and I'm sorry, man.
All right. Well, that's possible. Thanks for the call, Randy.
It has to ruin every holiday.
It
That's
is
the problem.
Well, it is. I mean, I am sick of Punxsutawney Phil's patriarchal oppression. I would like to hear more from Phyllis.
Do you know they reside in their own little zoo at the town library in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, and visitors can stop and look at them through the window? Now I want to go. I want to go meet Phil and Phyllis.
Oh, and Phyllis has to stay back in the zoo when Punxsutawney Phil goes to the big press conference.
She holds his coat for him. Yeah. Helps him with his breakfast.
Surreal anachronism. So we put Phil down. Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, Dan, I'm going to have to call you out because obviously you didn't do well in your sensitivity reprogramming class because you should never assume that someone married a female rodent that Phil is. You should always say life partner. So revisit that class and come on.
Fair
get it
point.
together.
Thanks for the call, Ed. That's very enlightened commentary, Ed, from Oak Brook. I appreciate that. I did assume Phyllis, a traditional female name, but again, I'm showing my white privilege, white cisgendered privilege, which is the worst kind of privilege of them all, as you know, Kristen.
I know.
So yeah, I appreciate that proper chastising.
I'm going to make sure Phyllis is wearing black today.
Yes, I think
Part
that
of
would
the
be
Me Too
appropriate.
movement.
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate. We'll get to that. All right. So there's some heady conversation.
How many
about,
times have you seen the
groundhogs.
movie?
Groundhog Day?
Yes, it has. I've seen it. It has to be 30, 40, 50 times.
No, it's not my favorite Bill Murray offering, so I've seen it a couple times.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like the piano scene. He actually plays. He learned that song through the course of the movie. You're nodding. You don't like my little people.com trivia?
It is a great factoid. So throughout the show, Kristen will sprinkle in other factoids about Groundhog Day, the kind of the backstory that you don't know, just like we've given you the backstory on Punxsutawney Phil's life partner, Phyllis. All right, we got to get to the memo here. It's really sort of fascinating, the firestorm over it, and it starts, of course. I mean, we need to start with Adam Schiff, because he is kind of the chief propagandist for the left and has been from the start of this. He is suggesting that Devin Nunes and House Republicans do not have the authority to release this memo because material changes were made to the memo that was voted upon for release.
Mm-hmm.
And because of these material changes and the sleight of hand alleged by Nunes, Nancy Pelosi is calling for Devin Nunes to be removed from his position as chairman of the House Intelligence Committee.
What else is new?
Byron York had this yesterday, and of course this is no impediment to the hysteria from Pelosi and Schiff, but he tweeted, Byron York from Washington Examiner, just talked with House Intel source, said changes to the memo were A, unknown number of grammatical and clarifying fixes, B, one change requested by FBI due to sources and methods concerns, C, one two-word change requested by Democrats for accuracy. And those material changes, as Schiff calls them, are the reason you can't release this memo because this is a different memo than was voted upon for release.
Mm-hmm.
The
Because
lengths,
of spelling changes.
the lengths they go to try and prevent the release of this memo, what does it accomplish other than to further sensationalize the memo against their direction? They're so What's your take on this, Chris? Are they bad at their job, or are they just so beholden to the mania of their base constituency that they have to defile themselves like this?
I mean, the latter. I think they view this again as a way to undermine the Russian investigation. They're counting on that in these midterm elections to win seats. And I still believe, after having talked to Peter Roskam, others, that this is all going to be a big, tiny little blip in this investigation, and that the release of this memo is going to be a lot of, sizzle, no steak, as we talked about yesterday. So what time is he releasing it today? Do we know?
I haven't heard a time. I just heard Friday morning.
I mean, the more stories are leaking out. Of course, anonymous sources saying that, the FBI director, Chris Wray, might quit over this.
Yeah, they're worried
Trump
about...
doesn't want to have that, occur.
He's got to be prepared to quit. You've got former agents saying, and you must be prepared to resign over this, and the White House reportedly concerned he will resign. I'm not worried about Chris Wray resigning, honestly. I mean, I take the Bill McGurn position. Bill McGurn from the Wall Street Journal, of course, was on with Brett Barron's special report about the memo. He had this to say.
I think that the FBI's argument is ridiculous. For one thing, they've shifted the argument. They used to say it was sources and methods. Now they're saying basically it would be material embarrassing to us. This is the Colonel Jessup argument from A Few Good Men. The American people can't handle it. I think people need to see. We have two big questions over all this. Did Donald Trump collude with the Russians to steal the election in 2016? And did the FBI and DOJ put their fingers on the scale? Now, remember, this is also Christopher Wray in his testimony for confirmation spoke about how he couldn't give Congress information because it was classified. This gets us backwards. The FBI is accountable to we the people through the Congress, not the other way around.
Yeah. So can you handle the truth? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636DA, turnkey.pro. Text line Kent in St. Charles.
Hey, good morning, guys. So 2 days ago, two FBI top officials go and view the document and say there's no factual inaccuracies. Then yesterday, 5 FBI agents view it and say that they're concerned about factual inaccuracies. This reminds me of them coming out and saying that Samsung was responsible for deleting emails or texts, and then Samsung calls up Fox and Friends and says that's not true, and within a day, Horowitz, the Inspector General, finds them. I think, this is my thought on it, I think that not only did it, I think we all know that they tried to put their fingers on the weight of the justice of the scale. I think Rosenstein's involved with still doing that. I think that he's probably going to be part of this memo, and
which has been telegraphed by some, yeah.
Well, yeah, I think there's a lot more to come on that, and I think and to suggest that Donald Trump wouldn't release it, Chris Wray should resign. Chris Wray has become part of the corruption at this point. He had an opportunity of doing the right thing, and to answer the question of why they're responding the way they are, I think that there's a mental imbalance after dealing with the American public under Obama and, the way they view us. I think that there's something mentally wrong with the way they view this country. I truly do.
Thanks for the call, Kent. A good summary. You've been following it very closely. That made some excellent points. I think I don't want to go so far as to talk about Trump derangement syndrome or some psychosis that afflicts people in the highest reaches of law enforcement. But I will say, and I think this is the fundamental problem, the agency has been politicized, hyper-politicized. And we saw the same thing at IRS under Obama in particular. And when that happens, all kinds of bad things follow. When you go from a professionalism as the calling card to politics as the calling card, those are very different cultures you're unleashing. And the politicized culture at FBI has brought with it all of the horribles that politics bring, and it's undermined the legitimacy of the agency to no one's fault outside the agency. Those were decisions that were made by politicians and politicians masquerading as law enforcement officials like Jim Comey, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. And I mean, just for coming from a journalism point of view, and I know you have lots of thoughts about media bias, and I understand that. But I mean, we aren't allowed to contribute to campaigns. We aren't allowed to put campaign signs in our yard. I wouldn't text someone if I was in the middle of a big story, taking a side. I mean, there do seem to be some serious ethical lapses just on principle at FBI. And also, this was a question I wanted to ask Andrew McCarthy yesterday, but I don't think we got around to it. Did he make the case that if they did in fact use the dossier, if they used that as their, primal point to do surveillance on Page, is that what else did they need to come up with in order to get the surveillance? Is that their primary piece of evidence?
Well, that's the question. I don't think we know the answer to it, but it seems to be going to the direction that was what they used, and so. So that prompts all kinds of other questions about what did you actually think was true and what did you think was not true, and at what point, if any, did that change in terms of your understanding of what was credible and true and what was not? In other words, were you essentially perpetrating a fraud on the court to get a warrant to surveil, and you knew it was illegitimate from the get-go?
Right. Or to the broader point, is opposition research off limits? I don't know that it should be.
No, I don't think it's about opposition, quote unquote, opposition research being off limits. I think it's about what did you're representing something as likely to be true, as a reasonable suspicion of criminal activity. If you had no basis to make that claim, then you're perpetrating a fraud on the court. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a problem.
Right. I don't feel like the court has got. I don't know which judge approved this, but that's deserving of some scrutiny as well.
We'll pick up our discussion about the memo. I want to get to some of the points that Kim Strassel raises in her very good piece in the Wall Street Journal in advance of the release of this memo. But now we check the headlines with our friend Mike Scott.
There is light snow this morning, 7 degrees officially at O'Hare. Officials in Shanghai say a minivan hauling gas canisters whose driver ignited his vehicle while smoking, plowed into pedestrians near a prominent park and burst into flames. So far, 18 are seriously hurt in the heart of the Chinese financial hub. Police are tamping down fears that it was a deliberate attack. Controversial Republican memo alleging FBI bias against President Trump and associates could be released later today. U.S. Senator from Indiana Joe Donnelly taking a wait-and-see position on the memo.
I have great faith in the FBI. I have great faith in the law enforcement community. For them, we do almost anything. And so I'm going to just follow the evidence, follow what happens here.
The memo alleges an anti-Trump sentiment at the FBI. After delivering paperwork to run for a second term as a U.S. Senator, Donnelly showed support for the workers at the Indiana FBI office. More than 900 miners trapped in a South African gold mine since Wednesday are now free. All 950 have been safely brought out, suffering from dehydration and high blood pressure, but no one's seriously injured or ill. The Arizona House of Representatives is kicking out a lawmaker expelling Don Shooter. He's accused of sexually harassing women. All but 3 of the 60 state House members voted to expel Shooter after an independent investigation found many of the allegations credible.
And frankly, you do whatever you need to do. Any of my people who are my friends and feel like they owe me anything, you don't owe me anything. You owe the people of the state of Arizona something. Let the facts speak for themselves.
The 3 state legislators were among women who accused Shooter of a pattern of harassing behavior. GM and Ford will not run commercials during the Super Bowl Sunday. Ford says it opted out after rolling out new Lincoln Navigator ads during the Grammys. Buick is just simply sitting out. Los Angeles police say a shooting at a middle school yesterday was an accident. A 12-year-old girl arrested for the shooting is being charged with negligent discharge of a firearm. Don't click on that email from Netflix. It's warning users not to click on that suspension notification in their email. It is a scam. The nationwide email phishing scam is intended to get Netflix subscribers' personal information, including your credit card number. Attorneys for the Chicago police officer charged with murdering Laquan McDonald are making the push to move his trial out of Cook County, subpoenaing media outlets, including the Tribune and the Sun-Times. Illinois' tough gun laws being rolled back again. The Supreme Court yesterday striking down the state's ban on carrying a gun within 1,000 feet of a park. Canucks beat the Blackhawks in Vancouver 4-2. The Bulls trade Nico Mirotic to New Orleans for a first-round pick and a couple of other pieces. College hoops last night. Wildcats of Northwestern get a big one in the Big Ten, a win over Wisconsin, 60-52. The news service of Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage is simple. You can understand the details and be sure you're getting the right mortgage. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Visit rocketmortgage.com today. Licensed in all 50 states. Equal housing lender. NMLS number 3030. 5:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher breaks down a huge win for the president.
What I would say is this is what leadership looks like. What I would say is, yep, we still got a long way to go. The government is reopened because the president didn't blink. You know what was different? It was in the messaging. You know who delivers a message like a bolt of lightning? Yeah, that guy that lives at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue these days.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
If you have pain, listen up, Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
One size fits all has no place in your bedroom. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of Helix Sleep, and we know one mattress can't work for everyone. That's why we created the only mattress built for you. Go to helixsleep.com, take our 2-minute sleep quiz, and we'll build your custom mattress and ship it to you for free. Try it for 100 nights, and if it's not the best sleep you've ever had, we'll pick it up and give you your money back. Go to helixsleep.com/talkradio right now, and we'll give you $50 towards your custom mattress. That's helixsleep.com/talkradio.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopRex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
5:38. Let's get an update on those morning roads. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Off the ramp from westbound I-80 to southbound I-57, there's a car in the ditch. That ramp is open right now. Eden's Expressway is fine, so is the Kennedy. Inbound Eisenhower, a little congested around Oak Park Avenue. Earlier crash is cleared. Inbound Stevenson, got a 2-minute delay now, Harlem to Central. Inbound Ride, a 4-minute delay, Canalport into the Burns Circle. Mission Forward, a 3-minute delay from Stony Island Feeder to the Verve. Other expressways and tollways look great. Traffic service Pringles. Want to know what's easier than making a grilled cheese sandwich? Making a grilled cheese sandwich out of Pringles. Stack up original Pringles, cheddar cheese Pringles, and another original. Boom! Got yourself a grilled cheese stack. Stack different flavors, create endless new ones with Pringles. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Cold day ahead, sunshine will mix with clouds and a high near 20. Seasonably cold, 16 overnight. Watch out for snow tomorrow afternoon, high 36. Currently 5 above, light snow showers at O'Hare, and your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan, and in for Amy this morning, Kristen McQuarrie from the Tribune editorial board. And the statements that are being made by people who I don't take seriously, but I know they take themselves seriously, and people in the D.C. press corps, the self-referential D.C. press corps, take themselves seriously. I think maybe John Heilman is suffering from some Halperin withdrawal. I think he misses his partner in crime, Mark Halperin. And so he's getting a little loosey-goosey. About the release of the memo, Paul Ryan, forget Devin Nunes or Trump, Paul Ryan's no longer on Team USA. Paul Ryan has defected to Team Russia. John Heilman on MSNBC.
Paul Ryan is now no longer on Team USA or on even Team Old Republican Party. He's on Team Nunes, which means he's on Team Trump, which means to some extent they're advancing in some sense the interests of Russia. This is this is what Russia wants here. And I continue to be baffled by Ryan's behavior, but we are now have a clear signal, that Ryan is utterly supine, and he's backed Nunes. Supine. He's saying, to the extent that Nunes is saying, we don't care about Russian meddling in the 2016 election. What we're going to do is investigate the FBI, which is what Nunes is saying. Yeah. Ryan has come out and endorsed that view, and I find that utterly stunning. Paul Ryan has behaved poorly over the course of the last year, but I did not think he would end up in this position, and he is there.
Are you as surprised as John Heilman that Paul Ryan has turned out to be a Russian agent? 312-642-5600 Turkey.pro answer line.
I just love it. So Paul Ryan is calling for the release of the document. I think he just has released a couple statements. He said, we should release the document. And I just love when journalists are against releasing information.
Yes, right. In this isolated case,
right. I mean, is he just on MSNBC or what is John Heilman?
Yeah. Well, I think he and Halperin had like a show on Bloomberg, and then Halperin had to go away.
And then he had to go bye-bye.
Yeah.
He's an MSNBC regular, but he calls himself a journalist. I just love that they don't release this information to the public. You must keep it a secret, coming from reporters.
Yes. The irony is lost on them, I'm sorry to say. Chris in Aurora, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, how's it going? Good morning.
Morning.
This is what I think it is, and this is what I think it's going to be. It's a prelude to what I would refer to as a civil war. Oh. And what we are fighting for right now, because we all know every time we have an election, we're divided right down the middle. So the left, in my opinion, what they do is they're fighting for the people that don't really pay attention to the arguments. And they'll go on TV or radio or whatever and say the most absurd things, hoping that small majority of people in the middle will believe that and go their way. And we obviously are fighting for the truth and are firm in our base, trying to expose the lies and whatnot. But eventually, what I think is going to happen is if the left is able to convince a small majority in the middle and take power away from us, then that would be when the actual civil war will start, because now they'll be able to go back to doing what they were doing before, and then we're going to be able to stand there and say, are we going to take this either by ballot or by bullets?
Chris, you know what I hear? I hear somebody who's on Team Russia. Thanks for the call. I don't. Look, these are very tense times in America. I don't know that I'm ready to suggest we're on an inexorable path to civil war. I mean, actual civil war, violence. I certainly hope not. But these statements, John Heilman, who's normally sort of a reserved guy, that's just a ridiculously unfounded, hysterical statement. Mm-hmm. Isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, he made like 17 dotted lines and then connected them,
If you're on Team Nunes, you're on Team Trump, meaning you're on Team Russia.
You're a traitor.
What?
The speaker. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, somebody call the hangman. I want to get to Kim Strassel's memo. A memo reading for nonpartisans. Kim Strassel and Andy McCarthy throughout these the special counsel investigation, the Hillary email investigation. These are the two, really two go-to sources, if you will. I think these are the people that have provided the most lucid thinking. They're kind of the anti-John Heilmans, if you will. Here's the what Kim Strassel suggests you look for. Rationale. Here are the questions that need to be answered and need to be considered when you're reading whatever is contained in that memo. Rationale. Did the FBI have cause to open a full-blown counterintelligence probe into an active presidential campaign? That is a consequential and unprecedented action that could not be justified without much more than an overheard drunken conversation and an unsourced dossier. What hard evidence did the FBI have? And this goes to what we were talking about before Mike Scott's news, Kristen, about what was the basis to get the warrant to launch this counterintelligence investigation, or was it just a thinly veiled predicate looking for a way to use the powers of the state for political purposes? That's a big question. Number two, tools and evidence. The government possesses few counterintelligence tools more powerful or frightening than the ability to spy on American citizens, writes Strassel. If the FBI obtained permission from the FISA court to monitor Trump aide Carter Page based on information from the Steele dossier, that's a scandal. It means the FBI used a document commissioned by one presidential campaign as a justification to spy on another. Ignore any arguments that the dossier was not a basis for the warrant and only used in part. If the FBI had to use it in its application, it means it didn't have enough other evidence to justify surveillance. I think that's a strong point.
She tweeted yesterday too. To counterpoint Jim Comey, who wants everybody to stand up and defend the FBI.
Weasels and liars.
She tweeted, Wray and Rosenstein had their chance to argue why the memo should not be released. They were overruled even after other intelligence officials saw it. That they are now campaigning against the White House in the media and with statements is pretty outrageous, to say the least.
Yeah. That's what I said. She's right on the mark. The other thing, another point that she makes, omissions and misdirection. What else did the FBI tell the court? What else did they tell the court?
Well, apparently there were 40 pieces of evidence that were presented, and only one was the dossier, supposedly.
But to her point, why'd you need it?
Right.
And
what came of it? Do we know the answer to that?
Well, we don't really, not definitively. And with respect to what else did the FBI tell the court? I mean, she makes the point, did the FBI inform the court of the Clinton connection? Did it lean on the claim that the Fusion Project was originally funded by Republicans instead? So it would be, and if the FBI didn't bother to ask who hired Mr. Steele at Fusion, that's a scandal on its own. So which is it? You didn't do your due diligence to know, or you represented something untruthfully. It's a problem. Duration of surveillance. The FBI may argue it had good cause to look into Carter Page, but if months of wiretaps didn't turn up anything, and surely we'd have heard if they did, the FBI also had a duty to cease such a liberty-busting intrusion. So how long did it go on?
Well, they extended it at one point, right? So.
And what was the justification for that?
Right.
Or was it just the FBI giving itself an open-ended license to spy?
Right. I mean, we are talking about a private citizen, someone who was an energy executive who Trump used for a short time as an advisor to his campaign, and he suddenly becomes part of government surveillance. I mean, I think we deserve some more answers.
And then the last category of question she posits, Kim Strassel. Team Obama, somewhat lost in this narrative is what role, if any, the broader Obama administration might have played with regard to the dossier. What actions were taken by Brennan and Clapper? Don't forget Bruce Orr at Justice, whose wife worked for Fusion GPS. The Justice Department officials who approved court filings. If there was surveillance abuse, accountability shouldn't stop with the FBI. Kim Strassel's piece in the Wall Street Journal memo reading for Nonpartisan, she outlines 5 good categories of questions that should inform your reading. Pete in Montgomery, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, Dan.
Morning.
So I have one minor concern about the release of the memo. I'm a Trump supporter, fully and completely. I want the memo released, and I think this has been a witch hunt. However, counterintelligence works on the thinnest of margins. They're trying to obscure what they're doing, and you don't have a lot of evidence for finding these warrants. So if we go ahead and release this, it's potential that we may be hamstringing ourselves because we have to go and produce more evidence to get these warrants, to get the counterintelligence we need, and it may make things difficult down the road.
Well,
just a concern.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. Thanks for the call, Pete. That's a fair point. The only thing I'd say is, number one, remember the Nunes memo. So House Intel Republicans have acquiesced to some of the demands made by FBI about redacting means and methods. So that's number one in terms of intelligence gathering. Number two, the issue is the thinnest of margins. Then, what did you represent to FISA court to get this warrant in the first place, and all of the questions that Kim Strassel laid out surrounding this? Because look, I understand that concern, but I don't think that concern nearly outweighs the concern about a politicized, weaponized FBI and maybe in part DOJ being used by one political party, the political party in power, against anybody, against private citizens, and particularly a candidate for president of the United States. I mean, I just think that overwhelms some of those intelligence gathering, look behind the curtain concerns that people have about the intelligence community. And again, they've done it to themselves, so this has to be remedied. Intelligence agencies are no different than government generally. If they lose their legitimacy, then they lose their effectiveness. Then they lose their standing with the American people. Can't have that. Greg?
Is it wrong of me to have a little bit of faith in the Intel Committee that this was seen by a number of people and they still agreed that it needed to be released and would not have done that if there were serious concerns about
it? I mean, you think, unless you want to, and I'm not saying Pete from Montgomery is saying this, he's not saying anything like this, but I mean, some of those arguments, some of the hair on fire crowd suggesting, what, is Trey Gowdy on Team Russia too? The people in the House Intelligence Committee don't care about national security, don't care about agents in the field, don't care about compromising the intelligence community? Of course they do. Or are they on Team Russia? Of course they're not. So that's a fair point as well. Greg in Schaumburg.
Hey, Dan and Christian. Christian, to respond to your point right now, let me go the other direction. Let me make the case that we have a fundamental shift by virtue of the education process, the philosophic underpinnings of the country that occurred with Obama, and that any Democratic administration that gets in that wants to accomplish anything because they changed the language, have changed the meaning, and they don't believe in a country are going to get what they want. And therefore, the only question, Dan, is the first one, and we've got a Democratic problem. The rest of the details don't count anymore.
Thanks, Greg. George in Libertyville.
Hey, good morning, guys. I would think that Trump, would even extend the olive branch and, squelch this report if they haven't proven time and time again that no matter what we do or he does to try to extend that olive branch, they don't turn around and just turn it into a switchback on him later. I mean, there just has to be a complete cleansing regardless of Comey and what they think now is going to happen to the FBI. This is just absolutely insane. It's just time to completely drain the swamp, as they say.
Thanks for the call, George. And, the other thing, too, is the standing that's being given to, like, James Clapper I'm watching on CNN right now. Mm-hmm. This guy who lied to the American people and to Congress about domestic surveillance, the domestic surveillance program. And we're supposed to listen to his sanctimony on this topic? Give me a break.
Yeah.
Jordan, Forest Park.
I think it's interesting to note that according to Wikipedia, in the 25-year period ending in 2014, there were over 18,000 requests for FISA warrants, and only 4 of them were rejected. And they're basically, this is rubber stamped. So whatever is presented, they approve it. There's also a provision where the Attorney General can ask for the warrant after the fact. They have like a 7-day period where they can then go back to the court after they've already taken some action. So I think what they're going to find out in this is that the court always approves whether
Well, that's true.
whether there's enough evidence or not.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. They didn't need to do that, is essentially what you're saying, because you've got a 99.9% chance of approval based on all these other pieces of evidence and the rationale that's presented. Yeah, obviously the benefit of the doubt is given to the warrant seeker. That's a good point, Jordan, even though now you are officially on Team Russia. Thanks, Jordan.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
If you still haven't purchased the very best pillow, of course I'm talking about MyPillow, the 4-pack deal is back. So I strongly urge you to go online or call now to make sure you take advantage of this great deal. A great night's sleep is so important, so give yourself the gift of a great night's sleep by ordering a MyPillow. By using the promo code Amy, you'll get the absolute best deal available anywhere. The MyPillow 4-pack deal includes 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows at 50% off. I love that I can move the fill to get the support I need, regardless if I sleep on my back or side. I never wake up with a stiff neck or headache. And MyPillow is made in America, washable and dryable, hypoallergenic, and has a 10-year warranty plus a 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your 50% off the 4-pack in February by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
If you're young and healthy, you don't need life insurance, right? Yeah, that's what I used to think too, until my brother died at 38. Joe left his wife with 2 kids, a mortgage, and a stack of bills she couldn't pay. Mary had to sell the house and move everybody into this tiny 2-bedroom apartment just to make ends meet. I never want to do that to my wife, so I got life insurance. I called AIG Direct and was really surprised how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. Listen, if you have a family, you should seriously think about getting life insurance. You'll feel a lot better having it, trust me.
Call AIG Direct for a free, no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you could save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-600-5451. That's 1-800-600-5451. 1-800-600-5451.
5:57. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Kennedy inbound. It's heavy out of the River Road tool to Canfield. 22 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound fine at 20. 190 looks clear. Edens is wide open. Got Eisenhower. Slow going. 17th to Harlem. 33 minutes. 390 to downtown. Outbound fine at 29. Stevenson runs 40 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Orion 20 from 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, just a little mild congestion approaching the merge. It's lighter than usual. Tollways look great. I-80 westbound off the ramp to southbound I-57. There's a car in the ditch. Northwest Indiana is fine. Traffic service of Audible. Stay motivated, informed, and entertained through the power of audiobooks. Listen anytime, anywhere with the Audible app. Start a 30-day trial, and your first one is free. Just go to audible.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan, and in for Amy this morning, Kristen McCreary continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, cold with sunshine mixing with some clouds, high 20. Tonight, mostly cloudy and seasonably cold, a low 16, but temperature will rise into the lower 20s overnight. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
5 at O'Hare, 7 along the lakefront. The news service of Accountemps. Finding highly skilled accounting and finance professionals can be a challenge. Accountemps can help. Accountemps' extensive networking of accounting and finance contractors, with them you can be sure to find the right person for your exact hiring need. Visit Accountemps.com to learn more. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. 5:59. Here are the stories we're following. Attorneys for the Chicago police officer charged with murdering Laquan McDonald making a push to move his trial out of Cook County. Federal immigration authorities have now released a North Suburban man seized by ICE agents Monday as he left traffic court in Skokie. Illinois' tough gun laws being rolled back once again as the Supreme Court yesterday struck down the state's ban on carrying a gun within 1,000 feet of a park. Ethics investigators at Southern Illinois University looking for answers as to why the new chancellor has a daughter and son-in-law working at that school. Canucks over the Blackhawks. Bulls and Pelicans work out a deal for Nikola Mirotic. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Will this be Memo Day? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Republicans hope so. President Trump expected to sign off on the release of the classified info alleging abuse of government surveillance targeting the Trump campaign.
If there are certain individuals who did the wrong thing, who either brought bias or cut corners or did something wrong that implicates in American civil liberties, it is our job as congressional overseers to bring people to account so that it doesn't happen again.
House Speaker Paul Ryan. Democrats and the FBI do not want this out. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, in a statement, the FBI said the Bureau was given a limited opportunity to review the memo before the House Intelligence Committee voted to release it. Congressman Adam Schiff, the top Democrat on the committee, echoed the FBI's concerns.
Because of serious and material omissions, is inaccurate and gives a very misleading impression.
Meanwhile, former FBI Director James Comey tweeted, "All should appreciate the FBI speaking up," adding American history shows that, in the long run, weasels and liars never hold the field, so long as good people stand up. Dave?
Well, Rachel, President Trump just tweeted the top leadership and investigators at the FBI and Justice Department have politicized the sacred investigative process in favor of Democrats against Republicans, adding rank and file are great people.
You know, the Democrats are AWOL. They're missing in action.
The president told a Republican winter meeting last night Democrats are not responding to his compromised DACA offer to provide a path to citizenship for nearly 2 million immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally as kids in exchange for border wall funding and immigration reform. She cried the gun went off by accident. The 12-year-old California girl facing charges of negligently discharging a firearm at school.
We had a 15-year-old male that suffered a gunshot wound to the head that we placed in critical yet stable condition.
Eric Scott with the LA Fire Department. Another 15-year-old was shot in the wrist. We get an update on the economy next hour. The jobs report expected to show 177,000 people hired in January. Fox News, fair and balanced.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
True story. So I urged one of my family members to call CertaPro Painters. He didn't do it, and that painting crew had to come back 3 times to fix their awful, sloppy mistakes, even paint on the floor, if you can believe it. Well, with CertaPro Painters, you get the best in the business. The attention to detail, color selection is truly unmatched. And now is the perfect time to get the interior of your home or business painted. The lower humidity provides an ideal environment for great coverage and quick drying times. They use fine quality paints with 0 or low VOCs, very little to no odor during application. Be an early bird and cross the first item off your 2018 to-do list. It's also the perfect time to spruce up your commercial property. Remember, each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated, so schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with a C. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, You do life.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
It's going to happen. You're going to need a plumber. And when you do, choose AHS Plumbing and Sewer. Always honest service. That's what they stand for. Their team has over 25 years experience in the plumbing, drain, and sewer care business. If you have drains backing up, water leaks, or basement flooding, call AHS Plumbing and Sewer to solve your issue quickly and permanently. Serving Lake County, Illinois, and North Cook County. Over 700 Angie's List reviews and dozens of awards. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. AHS Plumbing specializes in all types of drain and sewer care, including flood control. They're the company people know, like, and trust to care for their homes. Not the biggest, simply the best. Licensed, bonded, and insured, ready to serve your plumbing, drain, and sewer care needs in Lake County, Illinois, and North Cook County. Need a plumber? Call AHS Plumbing and Sewer. Call Dan the Plumber at 847-636-2124. That's 847-636-2124. Online at ahsplumbing.com. ahsplumbing.com.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
My name is Elisa French. I'm a Chicago ad executive. I have completed 3 no-cost refinances with Townstone Financial and with Barry Sterner over the past 15 years. I've always received outstanding interest rates. I think the best interest rates that are out there. My husband and I have never paid closing costs. They've always made the process really simple, really easy. So if you really are looking for somebody you can trust, call Barry.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639. Equal housing lender.
The evidence mounts. A toddler nearly drowns and symptoms are reversed. A stroke patient regains mobility. An autistic child speaks for the first time in 14 years. A quarterback who suffered multiple concussions and memory loss has remarkable improvement. What's the connection? They all underwent hyperbaric oxygen therapy. It's approved for a variety of conditions like concussion, cerebral palsy, immune deficiency, fibromyalgia, consequences of stroke, and more. The Hyperbaric Centers of Chicago are leaders in HBOT that accelerates the body's natural healing process by breathing 100% oxygen in a total body chamber with increased atmospheric pressure. Your insurance may cover hyperbaric oxygen therapy. To learn more, call Hyperbaric Centers of Chicago in Deerfield at 847-945-HBOT or visit hbot.md 847-945-4268 or hbot.md. Hyperbaric Centers of Chicago, the hyperbaric therapy experts.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again. And that must mean that we're up here at Gobbler's Knob, waiting for the forecast from the world's most famous groundhog weatherman, Punxsutawney Phil, who's just about to tell us how much more winter we can expect.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning, who's still a bit under the weather. Kristen McQuarrie, Chicago Tribune editorial board, and we will break in as soon as we get word, not in the memo, not on January jobs numbers, on whether or not Punxsutawney Phil sees a shadow or
I
not.
know,
Of course, the important thing.
It's the breaking news of today.
And you were doing some due diligence, being the dogged reporter that you are, digging up some factoids about Groundhog Day, and of course, getting quality sources, at least two.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, you got to get at least two sources before you run with something.
I thought I would just recite one of my favorite lines from the movie.
Oh, please.
This
A
is-
dramatic reading from Kristen McQuarrie.
Yes, this is Phil when he's talking to a sleeping Rita. He's having that repeat day, of course, and he says to her while she's sleeping, "I think you're the kindest, sweetest, prettiest person I've ever met in my life. I've never seen anyone that's nicer to people than you are. The first time I saw you, something happened to me. I never told you, but I knew that I wanted to hold you as hard as I could. I don't deserve someone like you, but if I ever could, I swear I would love you for the rest of my life." Rita, did you say something? Phil, good night. Isn't that a sweet
And scene.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. That's wonderful. I'm sorry, we're going to go with someone else for that part. It's much better than a clip
I
from
can
the
tap.
movie. Yeah, you really can tap.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
Mom and Dad's money didn't go to waste.
No.
It's nice to see.
Yep.
All right, so we'll let you know about that. By the way, we provide full institutional knowledge here, including on things like Groundhog Day. So I just want to make this point, and no less a verified source than William Dealey, who's the president of the Punxsutawney Groundhog Club and a very lonely gentleman. He wants you to know that the history of Groundhog Day, rooted in Christianity, Candlemas Day, the Germans expanding on Candlemas Day, which was people would bless and distribute candles to get through the remaining winter days between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. And if on Candlemas Day it was sunny and clear, spring would come soon. Winter would drag on, and if it was cloudy, spring would come soon. And then when all of those Germans settled in Pennsylvania in the 1880s, they adapted the custom to use the more common groundhog. The tradition stuck and continues to this day. So you can share that with your friends at lunch today and look like you
My
are
dramatic reading.
a cultural maven.
Much more interesting than your historical perspective. I
Well,
would say.
it's more entertaining, no question.
Mm-hmm.
One of the great undiscovered actresses of our time. All right, we've got so we got released the memo. We got January's jobs numbers, and we're going to talk about those at the bottom of the 7 o'clock hour when they're released with Scott Shalady, Scott the Cow Guy. We're going to talk Trump economic agenda for 2018 with Jimmy Pethokoukis at the bottom of this hour. But I want to get to Trump also saying yesterday, amid all the talk about the memo, that he is willing to walk on immigration talks. We'll either have something that's fair and equitable and good and secure, or we're going to have nothing at all. You were up at this February 8th, new manufactured deadline for government operation in advance of the March 5th deadline that Trump has set for the DACA program. Do you think President Trump is taking the right posture with Democrats who declared his proposal, which I think you could fairly characterize as being the Democrats more than halfway? Is Trump taking the right position to say, my deal and we're going to talk about it, or I walk away and nobody gets anything and we're moving on? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Now, keep this in mind with the backdrop of what you saw and heard from the president at his State of the Union address, including those families. Well, the ICE agent he recognized, as well as the families who have been victimized by people in this country illegally.
I don't think he's getting enough credit for the proposal that he's put forth. And you tell me if you've heard from his base, because a path to citizenship has been a deal breaker, even for Dreamers. All during the campaign, this was a huge reason Trump got so much support, is to take a tougher stand with illegal immigration. So, is the base on board with this proposal?
I think a lot of people don't like it. I think a lot of people understand what he's doing, give him the benefit of the doubt, know that there's going to have to be some give to get the fundamental transformational reforms in immigration policy on the security side that are desired and the immigration side. So the southern border security, in addition to ending chain migration or recasting it as merit-based and ending the diversity visa lottery. And this, while, by the way, he's established some credibility by unleashing the Justice Department to go after sanctuary cities and states. That's on a parallel track, but that's happening. And Tom Homan at ICE, he's no shrinking violet, I'll tell you that. And so I think, yes, I think there are people that don't agree with 800,000 Dreamers being provided a path to citizenship. And as the president said, Americans are dreamers too, much less 1.8 million. I think no matter whether it's tomorrow or 12 years, I think there's some concerns about that. Perhaps that should be merit-based too. Perhaps that should be the first merit-based reform, is starting to separate out the small number of DACA designees who served in the military, who graduate from college, who are productive, from those that are not. So I think there's divided opinion, but I think he has standing on the issue because people believe that he's serious about it. And the fact that he did come over the top, I suggest, was brilliant, because I think he painted Democrats into a corner.
I think he did too. And I mean, you have people like Luis Gutierrez saying that Democrats should walk. This is not good enough. And if they do, I think they wear the jacket on this, because I just see him offering a pathway to citizenship as, a risk for him in some ways.
No question. And it's a simple proposition he can present to the public. They wanted a path to citizenship for 800,000 people brought over to this country by their parents as minors. I offered 1.8 million. I offered people that were similarly situated but hadn't applied for DACA status to normalize them and provide them a path too. And you know what? They're so unserious about border security, about dealing with violent criminals and ejecting them from this country, about your safety, that they wouldn't even talk to me about it. I think it's a pretty straightforward proposition he has to sell, and I think, I think Bob from Highland, Indiana is going to make my other point, so I'll let him do it. Bob, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, my point is that he knew good and well they were not going to accept that offer, and he made that offer. And in the big picture, he is going to clearly appear to be the one willing to bend, and the Democrats, he's showing them for what they really are.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Bob. I agree with that. And here's the other thing that happened at the State of the Union, when he recognized those two families who lost their daughters to MS-13 gangbangers, and the Democrats didn't stand to recognize them.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, that's a mistake. And that's a mistake that was picked up on by the families. No question about it. Laura Ingraham had mother and father of Nisa Mickens on. And here's what Dad had to say about that moment.
Well, I felt it was very disrespectful. For the simple fact, the Democrats who was there who did not stand up, they were African Americans. So that hurts me a lot, to show that they did not have the respect or to honor what just happened to our lives and to America's lives. And it's not right. Regardless of how they feel about the president, they should show the respect, because I would show them the respect if that was their loved one.
And Laura Ingraham went on to query them about Joy Reid, that buffoon on MSNBC, who suggested that nobody's ever even heard of MS-13 except for, people who watch Fox News.
Oh.
I mean, so Laura Ingraham, to her credit, asked Elizabeth Alvarado, who is the mother of Nisa Mickens, the deceased girl, the girl murdered by MS-13 gangbangers, about that, and she just rolled her eyes and said, I can't even. She also said about Trump, very overwhelming feeling, all that love for us, what we stand for, my daughter. Not too many people get a chance to meet the president. We were both in shock about it. He kissed me on my forehead, which I was like, my God, I'm just a little pea in a pod. But he did acknowledge, and I felt his connection, that he felt my pain. That's Miss Alvarado talking about her meeting with President Trump, the, racist, hate-mongering barbarian, as Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer and others would have you believe.
I can't believe they didn't stand during that moment. And I don't remember watching the speech if they panned, if you saw that. I don't know that I knew that was actually unfolding while it was happening. I think the camera was fixed on the families.
Yeah, so no question about it. But there was a pan, and you could see the difference between one side of the aisle standing and looking up and applauding, and the other side largely, I'm not saying everybody, I don't know, but largely sitting on their hands, including the Congressional Black Caucus, which is what Nisa Micken's father was referencing.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle Malkin has a good piece on this, too, on topic, the difference between these dreamers and the demons among them. The bright hopes of young Shinran Ji, a University of Southern California engineering student from Inner Mongolia, died in 2014 at the hands of a then 19-year-old dreamer and his thug pals. Mexican illegal alien Jonathan Del Carmen, who first jumped the border at the age of 12, pleaded guilty to second-degree murder last summer in the savage robbery and fatal beating of G, who was walking home from a study group after midnight. No, it wasn't President Trump, ICE agents, Republicans, or conservative talk show hosts who racially profiled G. It was a dreamer, Del Carmen, and his partners in crime, Alberto Ochoa, 17, Andrew Garcia, 18, and Alejandro Guerrera, 16. The gangsters targeted G because he was Asian and assumed he, quote, must have money, unquote. In fact, there were Facebook messages from one of the perpetrators to that effect. So is this representative of all 800,000 or 1.8 million DACA designees or DACA, at one point, DACA eligible designees? No. But they're among them. And is it unreasonable for the government, for people to expect their government, to distinguish between Mr. Del Carmen, the murderer, and say, and even though he didn't come over DACA, but G, this USC engineering student from Mongolia, for example?
Mm-hmm. I was having this debate with some of my more liberal colleagues who, found this whole thing offensive because they thought that emphasizing criminals pushes this idea that illegal immigrants are all criminals and dangerous. And so they felt that was kind of the overriding theme. And I just said, I think they're wrong. These people don't get a voice. We hear a lot we read a lot on our front pages of dreamers and their struggles, and that's fine. We need to know a more compassionate side and put a human face. They deserve to be recognized too, and they have not had a voice except for moments like this.
There's no question. There's no question about that. And oh, by the way, can you get over your sentimentality, navel-gazing sentimentality, and actually connect some dots, you grand liberal intellectuals? On the one hand, he's recognizing a family victimized by people who shouldn't be in this country. At the same time, in the same frackin' speech, he's restating his proposal to provide a path to citizenship for up to 1.8 million people in this country illegally. Mm-hmm. Can you not connect the dots? Up to 1.8 million who fit into this category, and then that's the cap, but I'm willing to go up to the cap based on eligibility fitting into this designation, and then we're going to work backward from the ceiling to remove people who shouldn't be in this country or who are a threat to other people's safety. What is so complicated about that? What is insensitive about that?
Right. Nothing. It's actually very compassionate. I also think the deal that he is offering is not too far off the mark of what the Gang of Eight proposal put together. That included tougher border security, that included a pathway to citizenship for a larger population. But so there are elements that are similar. And yet you have people like Dick Durbin and who supported the Gang of Eight proposal, who have talked about border security and the need for it. not recognizing that this is a similar proposal, and on all the talk shows talking about how Donald Trump is a racist.
Yeah, you know why? Because the Gang of Eight wasn't serious, and members of the Gang of Eight, like Dick Durbin, know that Trump is. Clarissa in Chicago, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, I just wanted to make a comment regarding the border security. I agree, I'm a Democrat, and I agree that there needs to be border security. And I would actually take the deal regarding the wall and border security. But I think one of the things that they hesitate is, Donald Trump said that during the campaign that Mexico was going to pay for the wall. So I don't think that Democrats want to offer, I don't know how many millions or for the border wall, because that's going to be our taxpayer money that's paying for the wall, when he said that Mexico was going to pay for the wall. Why is he doing that? Why do the Democrats have to agree with that?
Well,
I think that's one of the big sticklers. I think that Republicans also need to be aware that this border wall was supposed to be paid for Mexico. Come on, Trump. Let's get Mexico to pay for it.
Well,
that's his number one thing.
Well, Clarissa,
that's his speech. That's his whole thing.
Clarissa, I got it. I understand he said it repeatedly, but let me suggest two things. One, the the Democrats' newfound fiscal restraint is something to behold, isn't it? These are people that want to spend multiples of the $4 trillion we actually take in on an annualized basis, but they don't want to scrape together $25 billion for a wall. Come on. That's number one. Number two, there's a couple of different ways to, quote unquote, make Mexico pay for that wall, and Trump has suggested one of them is we can front the money, but they're going to make it up on the back end with the renegotiated NAFTA deal. So I don't really think that paying a relative pittance in the grand scheme of the money the federal government has for enhanced border security on the southern border is really the sticking point for Democrats. I think that's a little disingenuous, but I appreciate the call. Thanks for joining us.
Right, but NAFTA's not.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. Stay warm this winter. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for winter storms and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because of my wife has been taking mine because she sees the difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Spark ideas for spring home improvement at the Old House New House Home Show, February 9th through 11th at Pheasant Run Resort in St. Charles. Explore the latest in kitchens, baths, basements, additions, renovations, and landscaping. Discover displays from 300 award-winning contractors, talented designers, and creative craftsmen. You can also meet experts on roofing, waterproofing, window treatments, patios, pergolas, painting, tile, custom closets, windows, doors, flooring, and more at the Old House New House Home Show. Enjoy inspiring workshops on kitchen design, decorating trends, beautiful bathrooms, and landscaping design. Plus, meet Mr. Fix-It, Lou Manfredini, on Saturday morning. Adult admission is $7, seniors just $4, and parking is free. A portion of ticket proceeds benefits Habitat for Humanity of Northern Fox Valley. Update, renovate, and revitalize your home with the Old House New House Home Show, February 9th through 11th at Pheasant Run Resort, St. Charles. For tickets and more information, visit KennedyProductions.com.
One size fits all has no place in your bedroom. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of Helix Sleep, and we know one mattress can't work for everyone. That's why we created the only mattress built for you. Go to helixsleep.com, take our 2-minute sleep quiz, and we'll build your custom mattress and ship it to you for free. Try it for 100 nights, and if it's not the best sleep you've ever had, we'll pick it up and give you your money back. Go to helixsleep.com/talkradio right now, and we'll give you $50 towards your custom mattress. That's helixsleep.com/talkradio.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Message and data rates may apply.
You don't follow the herd. You blaze your own trail. And you're as adventurous in the kitchen as you are in life. Whether it's paddleboard yoga or Peruvian steak, you're the first to try new things. So are we. We're Green Chef, the first USDA-certified organic meal kit delivery service. We offer delicious meal plans for 7 different lifestyles: paleo, gluten-free, keto, vegetarian, vegan, carnivore, and omnivore. Want to be the first of your friends to try Green Chef? Discover our exclusive introductory deal by texting the keyword BITE to 543-543. We believe that cooking, just like life, should be all about experience and flavor. And by exploring dinner options with Green Chef, you'll try new recipes, techniques, and ingredients for bold, new restaurant-level flavors. It's like enjoying a new cooking class, but in your own home. To experience this culinary adventure, text now and discover our exclusive introductory deal. Text BITE to 543-543. That's BITE to 543-543.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Krista McCurry in for Amy J this morning, and got some news. Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow, so that means 6 more weeks of winter. Text from 773, if Ronner sees his shadow, we get 6 more weeks of whining about Mike Madigan, possibly. But also, now this good news of sorts. Amy Jacobson has passed her kidney stone. So I think
I'm
that
sure she really appreciates you sharing.
Is that a
on
violation
air.
of HIPAA? I know she called in and said so.
But I think she was just letting her coworkers know. I'm not sure she wanted the listening audience to know she's
the listening
been trying
on
to
we're
pass the
all
kidney stone.
coworkers. It's one big family. So
Let's have her call in. Let's hear it. Let's get more detail.
I think if Amy passing a kidney stone and Punxsutawney Phil seeing I think it's a wash. I don't know. I think it's the kind of 6 more weeks of winter or not is still up in the air.
I don't.
Those 2 things happening at the same time? Highly unusual.
I just want to know who's next. Appendix for me. Right. Amy with a kidney stone.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Prof, what's next? I don't know.
I don't.
Kristen?
You guys share a lot of bodily functions.
I was thinking about getting calf implants. I don't know.
Calf?
Yeah,
calf implants.
Yeah, calf implants.
Yeah, maybe. All right, maybe.
That's what I allegedly was in the hospital for.
I see. This is the first time I think I've seen you. Well, yesterday since your appendix. So you're fully recovered.
Well, look at him. He looks like $1 million.
I know.
I do.
All right.
I look awesome this morning.
All right, Mr. $1 million. Read the news.
7 degrees, clouds this morning, and about 90 are feared drowned after a smuggler's boat carrying mostly Pakistani migrants capsized off Libya's coast early this morning. 10 bodies have washed on shore. The UN and even Italy's Coast Guard is racing to the scene. Today could be the day a congressional committee releases a controversial Republican memo alleging FBI biases against the president. House Speaker Paul Ryan.
And if mistakes were made and if individuals did something wrong, then it is our job as the legislative branch of government to conduct oversight over the executive branch if abuses were made.
We're also watching at the Capitol this morning as discussions continue behind closed doors about the federal government's authority to spend money that expires, you may recall, in less than 1 week. Cuban state media reporting the son of former leader Fidel Castro is dead, an apparent suicide. The 68-year-old Fidel Castro Diaz Balart, known as Fidelito, has been treated for profound depression over the past several months. A Wisconsin girl given the maximum sentence, 40 years in a mental hospital, for stabbing a classmate to honor a horror character called Slender Man. 15-year-old Morgan Geyser pleaded guilty to attempted first-degree murder for luring her sixth-grade classmate into the woods near Waukesha in 2014 before stabbing her repeatedly. Attorneys for the Chicago police officer charged with the murder of Laquan McDonald are making a push to move his trial out of Cook County. Chicago Cardinal Blaise Supich bringing in a retired FBI agent to head his anti-violence initiative. There are apparently a lot of Illinois parents who want to send their kids to private school. Empower Illinois, one of the groups helping to run the Illinois New Tax Credit Scholarship Program, said yesterday that so many parents tried to apply for a scholarship this week, they crashed the system. Canucks beat the Blackhawks 4-2 last night. Bulls trade Niko Mirotic to the Pelicans and get a lightly protected first-round draft pick back. The news, a service of Pringles. When you stack up different flavors of Pringles, you create amazing new flavors. Stack up cheddar cheese, jalapeno, French onion dip, Pringles, and you've got yourself the 3-layer dip stack, which makes you a genius. Stack different flavors, create endless new ones with Pringles. 6:35. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
A bad cold and flu season is upon us. The main difference between them is the flu brings a fever. Be prepared with the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer, backed by more than 70 clinical studies.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. Leslie, I like to think that we're always finishing the drive to the end zone and not just blocking and tackling for our clients. We want them to be ready for the big game, their retirement.
That's right, Craig. That's why our whole team at Wealth Management Group has their game face on and is ready for 2018.
Make a tactical maneuver to make Wealth Management Group part of your financial force.
Pick Wealth Management Group as your offensive line. Visit us at investwithwmg.com and listen to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560's Passport to Paradise contest is open to any legal U.S. resident, age 18 or older. To enter, download the AM 560 mobile app and fill out the entry form between January 22nd and February 9th, 2018. One grand prize winner will be randomly chosen on February 12th and will receive a 7-night trip for two to Riviera Maya, Mexico, including round-trip airfare and a junior suite at the Secrets Maroma Beach Riviera, Cancun. Approximate retail value $3,334. Visit 560theanswer.com for complete rules.
It is 6:36. Let's get an update on that ride to work this Friday morning. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Some train issues. Cold on Metra's Heritage Corridor line. The train due at Union Station at 6:50 is stopped near Summit. There's freight train interference. And on the north side of Chicago, there was a door problem on a train at Morris. Red line, so some residual delays are in effect there. Eden's inbound, heavy Cicero to Montrose. 21 minutes, Lake Hook to the junction. Outbound 22. Slow in the area between Toohey and Niles Center on the inbound side of the Kennedy. Delays from the River Road toll to Central, Addison to Armitage, and Randolph to Burns Circle. 30 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. A little heavier in the Express after some road work backed up the Ohio feeder with that road work at Orleans now clearing. Outbound, 2-minute delay, Foster to Sayre. Eisenhower, 41 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 31. Stevenson, 42 minutes, 355 to the drive. Outbound, it's fine. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95 to downtown. Bishop Ford, 23 minutes, 8094 to the merge. Tolls are good. Traffic is a service of Walgreens. Looking to save money on your Medicare Part D prescriptions? As a preferred pharmacy, Walgreens offers co-pays as low as $0 on Tier 1 generics on select plans. Switch your prescriptions and start saving today. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Jim, thank you. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. A cold day ahead. Sunshine. We'll mix it up with clouds. There is lake effect snow right now over in southwest Michigan. So if you're traveling that way, be careful. High 20. Mostly cloudy, seasonably cold, 16 overnight. Snow hits us tomorrow afternoon. When it's all said and done, Sunday night, our weekend snow totals somewhere between 2 and 4 inches, depending on which model you believe. 7 right now at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next with Kristen McCreary of the Chicago Tribune editorial board sitting in with us this morning on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
Then put your little hand in mine. There ain't no hill or mountain we can't climb.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning is Kristen McCreary from the Tribune editorial board. And Kristen, State of the Union speech the president gave Tuesday night, as we've discussed, was really a storytelling exercise using actual human beings and their, at least a portion of their life story, to illustrate policy positions he's taking to address issues that are important to Americans, border security, national security on the kind of the international stage with respect to totalitarian threats like North Korea, and also economic policy with respect to, for example, the small business operator that he identified, and the story of, I think his name was Corey, right, the welder?
Correct.
Identifying individuals to highlight kind of the entrepreneurial spirit and the value of hard work, and hard work gets you ahead in America. That's still the case. Not a lot on policy, and to the extent that he mentioned anything on his economic policy agenda for 2018, it was very at the top line level. For example, $1.5 trillion infrastructure program. So that means we have to get into the weeds and read the tea leaves and provide insights that get beyond the headlines. And to do that, we need experts. And one of those experts who is also a Jeopardy champion.
I know. This is the introduction.
Jeopardy,
each time. He's
Jeopardy
never going
champion.
to live it down.
He's also a Northwestern graduate. I suspect that he's more proud about being a Jeopardy champion than a Northwestern graduate. I certainly would be. And he's a CNBC contributor, and you can get his musings on economic policy at American Enterprise Institute as well, where he is a scholar. He is Jim Pethokoukis, who joins us now. Jim, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. I am extraordinarily proud to be a Northwestern University graduate. Also a master's degree at Northwestern as well, so they have a lot more of my money, and I'm a sports trivia bowl champion from Northwestern.
Wow.
All of which I value more highly than my Jeopardy win.
You got a full trophy case, and I know because you're sucking up to Northwestern, you're just angling for one of those commencement addresses. I get it. You want to raise the profile. I got it. Tone it down. Jim, so about the President's State of the Union speech, specific on economic policy, because that's your core focus.
Sure.
The infrastructure program, obviously a bit of a victory lap on the tax cuts. Not a lot more than that.
Yeah, if you were looking for a sort of a detailed idea of what is going to go on for the rest of this year, and this could be, the last year in which the president has his party in control of both the House and the Senate. So, I would really try, if I was him, I'd really try to make this a policy-heavy year. It's unclear. It was the infrastructure, which he's been talking about even during the campaign. The numbers keep going up as far as how much he would like to spend. The details keep going down. We're sort of getting less detail on what that would actually look like. So I'm not really, and he's already said, the president has already said he didn't mention it at all during the speech what he wants to do about spending and debt and entitlements and Medicare, Social Security, formerly the core of the Republican agenda. So that part's all a little bit fuzzy. So what you really are left with is a lot of anecdotes and, boy, isn't the stock market doing great.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, so based on your last column and your kind of, I don't know if you would call it criticism of that, do you think, I tend to think of Trump's base as also being sort of deficit hawks, and that they won't let him, and they won't let his followers and the GOP get away with straying from that longstanding position of watching spending and trying to shrink the size of government. Do you disagree with that?
I don't think so. I mean, they just voted for someone who made it clear that he doesn't care about certainly entitlement reform. Their voters, and given that the voters are getting older, they may also care a lot less about entitlement reform. I mean, that's sort of the good spending. For them, the bad spending is spending on Medicaid, income support programs, money they feel like is going toward, Democratic voters rather than Republican voters, older people. So I'm not sure they really care that much about it anymore. I've certainly seen no evidence that they at all care about having a president who seems to not care about it. In fact, says that he loves debt, loves to play with debt. I just think that's just not a relevant issue for Republicans right now. Probably, I think, like forever.
The way that Steve Moore describes it, and he's certainly not oblivious to entitlements and unfunded liabilities and the like, is that basically the Republicans have made a conscious choice to be a growth party, and that has subordinated conversations about debt load and entitlement and unfunded entitlement liabilities.
Yeah, well, the assumption that Steve makes is that debt is irrelevant to growth, that it really doesn't, that we've had a national debt as a share of the economy which has doubled since 2007. It's on a projection to double again over the next generation. And the gamble that he's making is that is irrelevant. That won't affect interest rates, won't affect growth, and we'll see if he's right. I don't think it's a gamble you need to take, but it's one Republicans I think are choosing to take, and I don't expect anything to get done that is going to really reduce government spending, put those programs on a more sustainable path. I don't think anything. I don't think that's. I think Steve very much represents from that perspective what Republicans are thinking, which is, you know what, interest rates are low, the doubling of debt hasn't hurt much, let it ride.
But the deregulation, effectively, the net is deregulation. I mean, substantially in the first year of President Trump, combined with the tax cuts, seems to be paying dividends in the early part of 2018. Would you agree?
I don't think we know yet. Listen, the whole theory of how all this is supposed to work is that all these changes will change incentives to work, save, and invest, and that's going to take time. If anything you're seeing happening right now, I would credit less to really policy changes than I would, the fact that every economy in the world seems to be going up right now, and I don't think they care too much about what we're doing at the EPA. And two, there's other things. Listen, Dan, I know you love focusing on government, but there also is a private sector.
No, I understand.
I know you're a government guy. You're a government guy, but the private sector is also doing things. We have these great tech companies, AI companies are adopting these technologies.
Sure.
Other things are happening other than government, Dan.
No, I know, but it's all, I understand. Look,
you're obsessed.
I understand. I understand that we're paying Elon Musk to come up with pneumatic tubes we can travel in. I get that.
Buy yourself a flamethrower and be happy. Buy yourself a flamethrower, use it in the backyard, be happy.
But okay, so let's go to the private sector then, Mr. Private Sector. And so give us your insight, since it's all very mysterious, about this health insurance play from Berkshire Hathaway and Amazon and J.P. Morgan that was kind of announced without detail this week and set the market and the health insurance stocks into a tizzy. What's going on there?
Yeah, I'll tell you, when we talk about weak growth and sort of weak productivity growth, one reason is that a big chunk of the economy and a growing chunk is healthcare. It's a sector without great productivity growth. It's a sector that has sort of been immune to the technological revolution and digitization. So I'd be very curious to see how this is going to work out. But of course, all the people out there who sort of hate these tech companies, hate Google and Amazon and Facebook and big tech, they're sad about this. And even if we're able to come up with a better way of doing health insurance, they'll still be unhappy about it. I think this is a great experiment, a great effort at private sector innovation. I'm excited to see what happens next.
But I mean, do you have any indication of what their actual play is? Is it to set up their own kind of pool? Or, I mean, I know, but the combined between them, they got 1 million employees. They certainly could.
Well, yeah. So it's actually a pretty big chunk of people. And I think one thing they're going to do is they're going to try to bring technology to bear. These sort of electronic health records, which has sort of been happening in fits and stops. Other technologies, I think they're going to try to finally bring some actual progress into this sector and some modernization, and see if that helps. Lord knows we need more of it. And listen, this sector is not going away. It's a big and growing sector. And if we don't get more innovation out of that sector, it makes all these other problems with the budget that we're talking about a lot worse.
Apple just had its best quarter ever, right?
I know. Well, bad news for the tech haters, Dan.
I'm not a tech hater.
It's terrible news for them.
You can distinguish between Tim Cook's politics and Tim Cook and Apple's products. I certainly can. I'm not say Apple should go away.
The activists can't.
Well,
the activists cannot because they view these are so big and powerful that they've subverted democracy. They're hurting the economy. Don't like your iPhone, as they're saying. Fall out of love with your iPhone. Don't talk to Alexa. That's what these guys are saying.
She's dangerous.
She's got a smart mouth, that Alexa.
I like when she's
sassy.
Yeah, she is. She's definitely sassy on my phone. I want to get back to the spending issue because I do think it's something that Republicans are vulnerable on. And because he didn't mention it in the speech, it's picking up steam. There's more momentum. But when you have somebody like Mick Mulvaney as your budget guy, isn't there hope for actual shrinking of government? Because I do think that if we don't see some sort of attention paid to the deficit, it will hurt Republicans. You don't?
I don't know. I think when they talk about spending and the deficits, I think oftentimes they're just using it as shorthand for sort of general economic malaise. And gosh, the economy, was bad, in 2008, 9, 10, 11, and deficits were going up, and they tend to link the two. I think for most people it's still pretty abstract, and if the unemployment rate at the end of this year is 3.5%, and the stock market's going up and people's 401ks, I don't think people care what the debt to GDP ratio is.
Poor Rand Paul. Poor Rand Paul.
We'll see if markets care.
All right. He is the great defender of the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker. He is Jimmy Pethokoukis, CNBC contributor, columnist for American Enterprise Institute. James, thanks for joining us as always. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Take care. And you joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Wages and benefits rose last year. Apple acknowledges the government is investigating its slowdown of old iPhones. And Boeing stock is flying high. Those stories next.
You like freedom? I do. You like money? Well, I do too. If you like freedom and money, then you're going to love Freedom Checks. You see, over the next few months, an estimated $34.6 billion is up for grabs to anyone who stakes their claim. Yep, you heard that right. $34.6 billion. To get all the details, just go to www.claimfreedomchecks.com. Thousands of people are already lined up to cash in. Take Doug, for example. He's a 46-year-old from Joplin, Missouri, who's set to get a check for $24,075. And if Doug can do this, I've got a hunch that you can too. But here's the thing. If you want the chance to grab your full fair share of this $34.6 billion payout, you must have your ducks in a row by March 1st. So don't wait. Get over to www.claimfreedomchecks.com before the March 1st deadline. That's www.claimfreedomchecks.com.
Workers' wages and benefits rising almost 3% last year. The Labor Department reporting it was the fastest 12-month pace since the spring of 2015. Apple acknowledging it's cooperating with the federal government inquiries into a secret slowdown of older iPhones. The Justice Department and SEC investigating how investors have been affected by Apple's handling of the situation. Apple has since apologized for not being more forthcoming, more transparent, and is replacing batteries on older iPhones, well, not for free, but at a discount. Boeing's latest quarterly earnings topping Wall Street targets. As a result, Boeing stock up on the day nearly 5%. The The aerospace giant has been the biggest gainer in the Dow over the past year. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. Trump's proposal on DACA, summarily pronounced DOA by congressional Dems, improved the GOP's electoral chances in November bigly. Here's how. First, by seeing a path to citizenship for 800,000 DACA recipients and raising the Democrats a million more, Trump took Schumer's and Pelosi's mascots away from them. If you're offered the prospect of a path to citizenship, are you willing to pass on your chance to pursue the left's open borders fantasy? Second, by providing a path even for those who were eligible but didn't seek DACA designation, Trump outflanked the Democrats on the issues of fairness, good faith, and empathy. Third, Trump positioned himself with 70% of Americans on the immigration issues punch list, normalizing DACA designees, building the wall, prioritizing based on skills, and punishing sanctuary cities and states. Trump has put congressional Democrats in God's little acre. If they cut a deal, Trump is the pragmatic, reasonable businessman who got a decent bipartisan deal done. If they don't cut a deal, Trump is the pragmatic, reasonable businessman foiled by inflexible Democrats whom he met more than halfway. The art of this deal is Trump has painted Democrats into a corner.
Did you know that studies have shown that we need over 10 servings of fruits and veggies every single day? If you're like me, it's hard to find the time and money to prepare and eat all of those fruits and vegetables. Who can do that? Yet we know that proper nutrition can prevent health problems, give us energy, and help us heal faster. Balance of Nature has spent over 20 years researching and delivering solutions to this problem. We can ensure that you consume over 30 different fruits and veggies every single day. Our capsules are filled with 100% real whole foods. There isn't a single thing added to Balance of Nature products. They're pure. We spent an incredible amount of time on the quality of our products. We do this for you. We do it for our own families. Give yourself a break and give your body what it needs. Call now to receive 35% off your first Balance of Nature order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
Are you stuck in a bad home mortgage? Well, join the club that has about 10 million other American families. But I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest legal analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, I guarantee you'll never be alone in this country.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jerry Kerrigan, one of the owners of F.J. Kerrigan Plumbing Company, a third-generation family-run business. Our trusted longtime accountant referred us to Signature Bank, and we've never been happier. On one of our first meetings, Signature Bank CEO Mick O'Rourke said, "You worry about running the business, and we'll take care of everything else." Since that initial meeting, Signature Bank has lived up to every promise they've made. The decision-making is local, the staff is consistent, and the service is outstanding. FJ Kerrigan Plumbing understands the value of long-term customer relationships, and we plan to be a customer of Signature Bank for a long time to come.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning, Kristen McQuarrie, Chicago Tribune editorial board, and I'm getting a lot of heat from John Cass on Twitter, your colleague, for mentioning that Amy Jacobson passed a kidney stone, and we're very happy for her because that means she's on the mend.
I don't know that she really wanted that broadcast, but
well, then I probably shouldn't have said it a second time.
I think she should call in and give us a play-by-play. Like, when did she pass it? How did it feel? Did she have blood in her urine?
Oh my God!
What were her
What is
signs?
wrong with
did
you?
Did she have a fever? You brought it up.
I just mentioned what happened. I didn't know the gory detail.
Well, we all know what happens. How did she get it? How can she avoid it next time? Does she need more balance of nature? What can we do to help her?
My dad had a kidney stone. I think kidney stones. I think my dad. Now I've outed another person with kidney. Oh my! It's just a. All right, coming up, we're going to talk to Brett Baer, find out who's on Team America and who's on Team Russia. That's at 7:07. But now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
The Van Dyke lawyers are subpoenaing newspapers. We'll tell you why. A Skokie DACA recipient released from ICE custody. A flood of parents crashing a website. The Bulls trade Mirotic to the Pelicans. Another cold day ahead. WIND, Chicago News Time 7.
The memo is still not public. And I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and Democrats not looking forward to it.
Because of serious and material omissions, is inaccurate and gives a very misleading impression.
Congressman Adam Schiff is the top Democrat on the House Intel Committee. He fears the classified memos are a Republican attempt to undermine the special counsel in the Russia probe. The FBI has grave concerns about its release. Republicans are pushing for it. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, President Trump is tweeting about the memo, saying Hillary Clinton and Democrats tried to hide that they paid Fusion GPS to create a dossier to convince a court misleadingly to spy on the Trump campaign. Counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, says the memo is not an indictment of the people of the FBI.
The president has stated many times that he respects the rank and file of the FBI, the 25,000 men or women who do a great job there.
The president is expected to sign off on the memo's release today. Dave.
Rachel, the president also says Democrats have been AWOL on DACA.
We're saying, where are they? We have a proposal. We never hear from them.
His compromise offer gives a pathway to citizenship for some immigrants brought here illegally as kids in exchange for border wall funding and immigration reforms. A police detective is recovering in Kentucky after being shot in the head.
It was a narcotics investigation that did involve a traffic stop.
Louisville Police Chief Steve Conrad says that turned into a gun battle. One of the suspects was killed, another was wounded. Louisville's mayor says he's grateful the officer is going to be okay. Don't expect an early spring if you believe in rodents predicting the weather.
I see my royal shadow. 6 more weeks of winter to go.
That's what famed groundhog Punxsutawney Phil told his handlers this morning in Pennsylvania. We'll see if other groundhog forecasters agree. There are some less famous ones from New York to Georgia to Ohio to Nebraska. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
7 degrees above, a wind chill of 8 below at 7:02 in Chicago on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Police still looking for the man accused of killing 5 women 10 years ago at a Lane Bryant store in Tinley Park. Authorities did release a 3D image of that suspect yesterday. There is a memorial service later today in Tinley Park to mark the 10-year anniversary of that shooting. Attorneys for a Chicago police officer charged with murdering Laquan McDonald are making a push to move his trial out of Cook County. Jason Van Dyke's legal team subpoenaed several media outlets yesterday. His lawyers seeking all published reports about that case as part of an effort to seek a change of venue. A DACA recipient from Skokie is out of custody, detained earlier this week. Christian Garcia was released from an ICE detention center in Wisconsin. He was arrested Monday at the Skokie courthouse trying to clean up a traffic ticket.
Basically letting us know that we have no rights as a human and that we're not welcome here.
His family claims he was mistakenly arrested because something went wrong when he applied to renew his DACA status. Illinois' tough gun laws being rolled back once again. The Illinois Supreme Court yesterday struck down the state's ban on carrying a gun within 1,000 feet of a park. There are apparently a lot of Illinois parents who want to send their kids to private school. Empower Illinois is one of the groups helping to run Illinois' new tax credit scholarship program. It said yesterday so many parents tried to apply for scholarships this week, they crashed the system. Ethics investigators at Southern Illinois University looking for answers as to whether new jobs for the daughter and son-in-law of the school's chancellor broke the rules. Meantime, SIU's troubles in finding and keeping students continue. School yesterday said spring enrollment is down 1,300 students from last spring. SIU says just over 13,000 students are on campus. Canucks scored twice in the second and third periods, pulling out a 4-2 win over the Blackhawks. The Bulls finally trade Niko Mirotic to the Pelicans and get a first-round pick back, a lightly protected first-round pick. College hoops, big win in the Big Ten for Northwestern. They top Wisconsin 60-52. The news service of Staples. Staples has low prices on the organizational solutions your business needs to cut the clutter and focus on the job at hand this year, like banker's boxes, file folders, and storage bins. Less mess equals more success. Visit Staples.com for more. Staples, it's pro time. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity has a plan to start immigration reform.
My answer to all of this is if you build the wall expeditiously, fund it fully, get it moving, then you can talk about any other topic you want to talk about. But I'm not buying that it's going to happen down the road. Now, the president has been reiterating over and over again that we need this border wall.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
Do you have sleep apnea? Are you tired of dragging your big, bulky CPAP device with you whenever you leave home? Yeah, well, I was too. That's why I'm so glad I called to try the Transcend Mini CPAP for 10 nights. I can't imagine living without it now. My Transcend is about as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. That's less hassle to carry than my shaving kit. Plus, I was able to add a battery pack that's as tiny as a deck of cards. But hey, that's not all. Transcend is FAA compliant, too, which means I can finally sleep comfortably while flying. Heck, I can sleep comfortably anywhere now. So if that all sounds good to you, call now to give Transcend a try. You'll be glad you did.
Now you can try Transcend and sleep comfortably for 10 restful nights with a money-back guarantee. Just pay return shipping. So call minicpap.com now. 1-800-300-6551. Again, that's 1-800-300-6551. 1-800-300-6551.
7:07 and a check of the morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. On the Kennedy inbound, we're seeing delays from Harlem to Irving Park. There's a crash in that area blocking the left lane. And then it's slow from Kimball pretty much the rest of the way in. It's about 49 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 22 from Montrose, 16 on the Express. Up on 10 minutes to Montrose, 26 to O'Hare. Fine once you get past Harlem. Eden's 21 minutes, Lake Cook Junction, outbound 24. The Eisenhower, heavy Manheim to past Harlem and Austin to Damon. 46 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 32. Mount Stevenson, 45 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 35. The Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound clear. I-57 is all good. Bishop Ford, 27 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Northbound Tri-State, delays are from Plainfield Road to 47th, then from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. The other tollways are fine. No delays on I-80, and for now, no delays in Northwest Indiana. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Lowest wind chill values of 5 below to 15 below zero in the morning. Otherwise, a mix of sun and some clouds today with a high 20. Mostly cloudy night with a low 16, with temperatures rising overnight. Little snow in the afternoon tomorrow, coating to an inch, high 36. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but our Woodstock Willie, 6 more weeks of winter. He just prognosticated moments ago. Currently 5 above at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next with Kristen McQuarrie sitting in with us this morning on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
This February 2nd at 7:20 and 30 seconds, Punxsutawney Phil, the seer of seers, prognosticator of prognosticators, emerged reluctantly but alertly in Punxsutawney, PA, and stated in groundhogese, I definitely see a shadow.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning, Kristen McQuarrie, she of the Chicago Tribune editorial board. So we're starting to build a consensus. You had Punxsutawney Phil, now Woodstock Willie here in Illinois. Both see their shadows, meaning 6 more weeks of winter. In addition to that, I'm not supposed to say this, so it's only going to be the third time I say it. Amy Jacobson passed a kidney stone, so she's on the mend, but that also means 6 more weeks of winter.
They're colluding. It's Russian collusion. Are you ready for your...
Team Russia.
Team Russia.
Obviously.
Are you ready for your trivia question about the movie real quick? You can think about
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, Groundhog Day, the movie. Maybe Brett can weigh in on this as well.
All right.
How long was Phil trapped in Groundhog Day in the movie? For how long?
6 weeks.
No.
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, I'm just teasing it out. I'll tell you later in the show.
Oh, wow. You pick up this radio tease bit very quickly. Yes. I'm impressed. All right, so on Release the Memo Day, in addition to Groundhog Day, in addition to January Jobs Numbers Day, the statements that are coming out are remarkable and from some unexpected sources. First, what I thought was a reasonable position to take. Bill McGurn, who was on Brett Baer's show, had this to say about the memo and about the FBI, the quality of the FBI's argument.
I think that the FBI's argument is ridiculous. For one thing, they've shifted the argument. They used to say it was sources and methods. Now they're saying basically it would be material embarrassing to us. This is the Colonel Jessup argument from A Few Good Men. The American people can't handle it. I think people need to see. We have 2 big questions over all this. Did Donald Trump collude with the Russians to steal the election in 2016? And did the FBI and DOJ put their fingers on the scale? Now remember, this is also Christopher Wray in his testimony for confirmation spoke about how he couldn't give Congress information because it was classified. This gets us backwards. You know, the FBI is accountable to we the people through the Congress, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's, on the merits, if you will. John Heilman at MSNBC. Now, I'm going to chalk up what he said to Mark Halperin withdrawal. He misses his buddy, okay? This is a remarkable statement for someone who's usually rather measured, and it seems to me it goes to the derangement that comes from all of this shift from Representative Adam.
Paul Ryan is now no longer on Team USA or on even Team Old Republican Party. He's on Team Nunes, which means he's on Team Trump, which means to some extent they're all they're advancing, in some sense, the interests of Russia. This is this is what Russia wants here. And I continue to be baffled by Ryan's behavior, but we are now have a clear signal, that Ryan is utterly supine. And he's backed Nunes. He's saying, to the extent that Nunes is saying, we don't care about Russian meddling in the 2016 election. What we're going to do is investigate the FBI, which is what Nunes is saying. Yeah. Ryan has come out and endorsed that view. And I find that utterly stunning. Paul Ryan has behaved poorly over the course of the last year. But I did not think he would end up in this position. And he is there.
Paul Ryan is a Russian agent, part of Team Russia now. Paul Ryan. Because it's just as easy as that. You go from Team Nunes to Team Trump to Team Russia. It's just a 1, 2, 3 hopscotch.
It's a dotted line that goes nowhere. And it's actually, Speaker Ryan, all he has said is that the memo should be released, right? Did I miss something?
And he raised the legitimate questions based on what we know that has been widely reported and has resulted in, among other things, the resignation of the deputy director of the FBI. Good Lord. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Bret Baier, Fox News anchor of Special Report, weekdays 5 p.m. Chicago time. Also, the author of the book 3 Days in January, Dwight Eisenhower's Final Mission. Bret, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning.
Morning. So what about, Heilman in particular, and just does that not speak to the unbounded hysteria surrounding this?
It really does. And the fact that those statements can be made not considering what we know. These texts between Peter Strzok and Page talking about an insurance policy that's talked about in Andrew McCabe's office, as they're all being a part of the special counsel investigation. They don't happen in a vacuum. It's not disconnected. The fact that the Wall Street Journal has a story that McCabe sat on the found emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop for 3 weeks before it came out that they were there, and then they moved forward with the investigation, many officials thinking he was going to try to sit on them through the election. That doesn't happen in a vacuum. So why the House Republicans can't ask questions about that and not have Paul Ryan take on Team Russia is quite something.
Do you think we had Congressman Peter Roskam on the show a couple of days ago, and there are some voices out there who have seen the memo or are familiar with it, who have kind of downplayed it, that there's this big crescendo, and it's actually going to turn out to be kind of a sputter, that it's alluding to different things, but it's not going to turn out to be this big explosive document. Can you tell us what you've heard along those lines?
Yeah, I think there's a danger in overhyping anything. And we've heard the same thing. There's concern in the White House about that. The memo itself, I think some key points from what I've been told are that you will be able to see an interview maybe with an official who will lay out what would have happened if there was a dossier, what wouldn't happen if there wasn't a dossier, as far as what was officially done. Mm-hmm. I think there are a number of names that surface in this memo that people will be familiar with, that it questions their motivations, and it questions the information that they bring to a FISA court to get surveillance. So all of those things are not smoking guns, but they are serious questions that lend themselves to more questions.
Right, and it seems to me, we had Jonah Goldberg on the show, who I know is regular on Fox as well yesterday, and he talked about, this does not undermine or necessarily, depending on what's in there, of course, but on its face, doesn't undermine or diminish the standing of Bob Mueller and his investigation. Okay, fair enough. But the Bob Mueller investigation and the Russian meddling, or efforts to meddle in the 2016 election, doesn't undermine the importance of getting to the question, did we have an administration or elements in the administration use the most powerful agencies in the federal government for political purposes against political opponents? Isn't that an important question to have a complete and thorough answer to?
Yes, it's entirely important. Now, Paul Ryan makes the distinction that we have to be careful that we are not taking down institutions. And I don't think oversight of them is taking them down. In fact, one could argue it's strengthening them. So I think that hyperbole on both sides has gone, as it often does in Washington, over the deep end.
Mm-hmm.
Switching gears to immigration, amid all of the memo fury yesterday, President Trump saying, I'm willing to walk on immigration and any deal if the Democrats don't even want to talk. And it seems to me with the proposal that he's made that meets them more than halfway, that he restated in a State of the Union address, he's got the upper hand on them in terms of standing with the public at this point.
Yeah, I think the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell yesterday said after the last showdown, that education doesn't change much in the second kick of a mule. I love these statements, but basically they feel, Republicans feel, the administration feels like Democrats are really, really in a bad spot. They're getting pushed hard from the left, and they are trying to hold the line and may end up holding the bag again.
Do you think, so Senator Luis Gutierrez from Illinois, Representative, is actually encouraging them to walk, saying that the immigrant population does not want this sort of legal status if it comes at the expense of others who will suffer more as part of a bargain. I mean, do you
like to put that question to them?
Well, exactly. Do you get the sense that he's right, or is he just among the we have to block Trump from having any sort of a win? What do you actually think the immigrant community wants?
Well, I mean, I think they want a deal. If you look at the DACA folks who were protesting Nancy Pelosi recently, they want some kind of them to stand up and make a deal. And 1.8 million people is expanded from 800,000. I think that's what it is. I think this is all a negotiating ploy on Gutierrez's part. But, you're talking about a situation where a deadline is set, March 5th. They're going to have another continuing resolution next week, February 8th. Mm-hmm. But there has to be a solution, or the president's going to have to reissue an executive order that takes them another 6 months. And it's not a position to be in.
Right, but the Democrats are doing a nice job kind of keeping both teams in it. And you see this with the tax cuts kind of closing the generic ballot deficit that Republicans have with respect to House and Senate races. But on this issue, boy, for those Democrat senators in states like Indiana and West Virginia and South Dakota, if they don't get a deal done, if Joe Donnelly, for example, our neighbor to the east, is part of the Luis Gutierrez caucus, he is not going to be a senator after the 2018 election.
I agree. I mean, there are 10 senators from states where Donald Trump won 80% of the counties or more. And Donald Trump didn't win 80% of those counties by not addressing immigration, by not talking about the wall. He won because he campaigned on all of this. I think you're going to see some shifts and it's already happened because, as you mentioned, the tax law, but shifts on the issue of immigration if there's not a deal here.
He is Bret Baier, Fox News anchor, special report, weekdays, 5 p.m. Chicago time. The book, 3 Days in January, Dwight Eisenhower's Final Mission. Bret, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Have a good weekend.
You too. And he joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Your weather forecast, but first your trivia answer. How many times did Bill Murray relive Groundhog Day in the movie? The answer, 8 years, 8 months, and 16 days.
How many times did he relive?
Yeah, how long was he stuck there?
Oh.
How long was he trapped?
Oh.
8 months. 8 years, 8 months, 16 days. There you go.
Did you actually know that?
Yeah, I'm just pulling this out of my cranium here.
That is
Yeah.
unbelievable recall. Unbelievable.
I'll keep going. Forecast, cold with sunshine mixing with some clouds, high of 20 tonight. Mostly cloudy and seasonably cold. We will drop to 16 degrees and possible snow tomorrow. Let's get a check of the roads with Jim Talamonte.
Thank you, Kristen. Good morning. Thanks, Dan. Good morning. The Eden's inbound. It's just a little heavy Elston to Montrose. It's just 21 minutes. Lake Cook Junction, outbound 23. Kennedy. There was a crash inbound at Irving Park. It's gone. Looking at 46 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 22 from Montrose, 20 in the Express. Outbound 28 minutes to the airport. Von Eisenhower delays are from 25th to Damon. 47 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 31. Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to the drive. Outbound 35. Ryan, 25 minutes from 95th to the Loop. Clear outbound. I-57 is fine. Bishop Ford, 27 minutes, 8094 to the merge. Northbound Tri-State stop and go, Plainfield Road to 47th. Then from the Reagan Tollway to the Ike. Northbound Veterans Memorial, a little sluggish between 63rd and the Reagan Tollway. The other tollways are just fine. Northwest Indiana looks good. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
AM 560's Passport to Paradise contest is open to any legal U.S. resident, age 18 or older. To enter, download the AM 560 mobile app and fill out the entry form between January 22nd and February 9th, 2018. One grand prize winner will be randomly chosen on February 12th and will receive a 7-night trip for two to Riviera Maya, Mexico, including round-trip airfare and a junior suite at the Secrets Maroma Beach Riviera, Cancun. Approximate retail value $3,334. Visit 560theanswer.com for complete rules.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Starting Balance of Nature, I felt that the first month I felt different. It made such a difference that now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
I plan on taking this the rest of my life because until I started taking your stuff, I never took as many fruits and vegetables in a day as I get through you guys. You know, I'm very, very, very satisfied.
My pain and it went away. I swear to you that that's the truth.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
What interest rate would you rather pay on your credit card debt? 17% or less than 6% APR? The answer is obvious, Lightstream. Because with Lightstream, you may be able to consolidate credit card debt and dramatically cut your interest rate to as low as 5.49% APR with AutoPay. Plus, radio listeners get an additional rate discount. Just go to lightstream.com/news. With average interest rates on credit card debt at 17% APR, Lightstream could save you thousands in interest. And because Lightstream is a division of SunTrust Bank, one of the nation's largest and strongest financial institutions, you can have complete peace of mind. The application takes just minutes, and there are no fees and no pressure. Just lower rates, one low fixed monthly payment, and huge savings. So if you have good to excellent credit, apply today and get a special interest rate discount when you go to lightstream.com/news. That's lightstream.com/news. Lightstream.com/news.
Subject to credit approval. Rates include 0.5% autopay discount available only when you select autopay prior to loan funding. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com for important information about limits on Lightstream loans.
Message and data rates may apply.
You don't follow the herd.
You blaze your own trail, and you're as adventurous in the kitchen as you are in life. Whether it's paddleboard yoga or Peruvian steak, you're the first to try new things. So are we. We're Green Chef, the first USDA-certified organic meal kit delivery service. We offer delicious meal plans for 7 different lifestyles: paleo, gluten-free, keto, vegetarian, vegan, carnivore, and omnivore. Want to be the first of your friends to try Green Chef? Discover our exclusive introductory deal by texting the keyword BITE to 543-543. We believe that cooking, just like life, should be all about experience and flavor. And by exploring dinner options with Green Chef, you'll try new recipes, techniques, and ingredients for bold, new restaurant-level flavors. It's like enjoying a new cooking class, but in your own home. To experience this culinary adventure, text now and discover our exclusive introductory deal. Text BITE to 543-543. That's BITE to 543-543.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Kristen McQuarrie in for Amy J this morning. And Kristen, I know much like every detail of the movie Groundhog Day, you have committed to memory all of the public sector salaries, particularly for school superintendents.
Yeah, test me. Let's see.
Could you
throw one out there?
Oak Park River Forest High School Superintendent Joy Lee Lynn Pruitt-Adams. Joy Lynn Pruitt-Adams.
$225,000.
Oak Park River Forest High School Superintendent Joy Lynn Pruitt-Adams. She's taking a medical leave after January back surgery. That's not the interesting point, although that's the headline of the Tribune story. She came here from University City, Missouri. She was a superintendent there for the past decade. But since Illinois doesn't offer reciprocity for superintendent licensure from other states, Pruitt-Adams was required to pass the Illinois superintendent exam to obtain her license. The doctor! All of the doctors that are superintendents of schools. Oh, doctor this and doctor that. Doctor my arse. Several tests of academic proficiency are also required to obtain Illinois licensure. Pruitt-Adams passed them all except the math part. So she's preparing to retake the test before she begins her medical leave. She has until June 18 to complete the test while she's being paid. Math is difficult, I know.
Math is hard, Dan.
I understand.
I'm actually looking at some not sample questions, but the tests that superintendents here have to take, and it includes some
long division,
trigonometry.
Oh my gosh, sine and
applying
cosine,
measurement formulas to irregular shapes, regions, and solids. I'm out.
Oh boy,
I'm out.
It's a bridge too far.
Yep.
Good news for those concerned about Pruitt-Adams and her salary and her standing. The Board of Education for OPRF, full confidence. One of the shining moments for the previous board was hiring this amazing person. Full support of the Board of Education. I am relieved.
It's hard.
K through 12 rolls on in Illinois. Coming up, we're going to talk January jobs numbers, which shall be released momentarily, with Scott Shellady, Scott the Cow Guy, Fox Business News contributor. That's at 7:37. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
7 degrees. Clear skies in Chicago. A Republican drafted memo alleging bias against President Trump by the FBI could be released later today. House Democrat leader Nancy Pelosi is asking Speaker Paul Ryan to remove Devin Nunes as chairman of the Intelligence Committee. Connecticut Democrat Senator Richard Blumenthal saying this morning Nunes might be guilty of obstruction of justice.
I think there is probably a credible case involving Nunes as well, not just in what we know publicly, but in conversations that no doubt took place between him and the White House.
Those comments on MSNBC just a short time ago in a letter to Paul Ryan. Pelosi accused Nunes of deliberately dishonest actions. There will be 6 more weeks of winter, so says Punxsutawney Phil.
I see my royal shadow. 6 more weeks of winter to go.
He emerged from his burrow on Gobbler's Knob in Pennsylvania this morning. Also, our friend from Woodstock, the same thing. Winter marches on for 6 more weeks. Los Angeles police says a shooting at a middle school yesterday was an accident. 12-year-old girl arrested for that shooting is being charged with negligent discharge of a firearm. A 15-year-old was shot in the head. Attorneys for the Chicago police officer charged with murdering Laquan McDonald, making a push to move his trial out of Cook County. Search continues to try and find a Northwest suburban native who went missing in Hawaii a week ago. Kelly Morinsky went hiking in Hilo when she was swept away in a river. The Schaumburg High grad was working as a travel nurse at the Hilo Medical Center at the time of her disappearance. The Bald Eagles are back in the Quad Cities. Now's the perfect time to go see 2,200 bald eagles along a 1-mile stretch of the Mississippi and Rock Rivers. That compares to 957 eagles last year. Canucks over the Blackhawks 4-2. Bulls finally do trade Nico Mirotic to the Pelicans. College hoops last night in the Big Ten. Northwestern topped Wisconsin. The news, a service of Geico Chicago. Hey, Chicago Geico now has even more ways to save you money. Your local Geico agent ready to deliver the personal service you need with the savings you love. 773-582-8888. 773-582-8888 for your local Geico agent. 7:33, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager explains the left's view on immigration.
Leftism is not interested in borders. Leftism, since Karl Marx, it has never deviated from this belief. National states are an anachronism. The nation state is irrelevant.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
A bad cold and flu season is upon us. The main difference between them is the flu brings a fever. Be prepared with the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer, backed by more than 70 clinical studies.
Looking to secure financing on a new home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Mitch contacted the nation's largest online lender, obsessed with their Rocket for a VA mortgage, but was overwhelmed by their ridiculously high closing costs. So he called Team Hochberg, which he should have done in the first place. Team Hochberg secured Mitch a lower rate with substantially lowered closing costs. When securing a VA loan, you can contact the largest online lender who finances the millions of dollars promoting their Rocket through higher rates and closing costs. Or you can call a trusted local lender, Team Hochberg, at 312-751-1333, who values the sacrifices you made for our country and has substantially lower closing costs and interest rates, because guess what? We don't have a Rocket. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
7:35. Let's get a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Traffic's getting a little heavier on the inbound Eisenhower now. We see a delay first from St. Charles to the Tri-State, and then it's stop and go from 25th Avenue to Damon. 52 minutes, 390 to downtown. 37 from Manheim, outbound 32 minutes to 390. Eden's 21 minutes, Lake Cook Junction, outbound 30. Kennedy, 45 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 30 from Montrose, 25 on the Express. Outbound 12 minutes to Montrose, 34 to the airport. John Stevenson, 52 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 40 from the Tri-State. Outbound 36 minutes to 355. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 24 minutes, 8094 to the merge. Northbound Tri-State, traffic hits the brakes from the Stevenson to 47th and from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Northbound Veterans Memorial heavy from the 463rd to the Reagan Tollway. The other tollways are fine. No problems to report on I-80 or in northwest Indiana. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Cold day ahead. We'll have sunshine. In the morning, it'll mix with clouds in the afternoon and a high of 20. Cloudy, seasonably cold. Low of 16 overnight. Snow tomorrow. Currently, we have 8 degrees above. Next news coming up at 8, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning, Kristen McQuarrie, she of the Chicago Tribune editorial board. And Kristen, we got some bad news out of Gobbler's Knob. By the way, wasn't that the name of a Stormy Daniels film? Or do I have that wrong?
I think it was your high school band.
Gobbler's Knob, Puxatawny Phil saw Shadow, so 6 more weeks of winter.
So disappointed in him.
Yeah.
I'm revoking his Screen Actor Guild Union membership.
By the way, Dick Blumenthal, I had to pick this up from Mike Scott's newscast.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Vietnam War hero, Dick Blumenthal, according to him. He said Devin Nunes, we can make a case out for obstruction of justice. He's an officer of the court, allegedly. He was the Attorney General of Connecticut.
Just release the memo already. Just release the memo. Let's put all of this hyperbolic conversation to rest. Release the memo.
Or we could just have the FBI conduct a coup d'etat and throw all the Republicans in prison. Why don't we just skip ahead? Get to where Adam Schiff and Dick Blumenthal want to go. All right, the good news amid all of this silliness. January jobs, 200,000 jobs in January. Unemployment rate remain unchanged, 4.1%, a meaningless number. But 200,000 new jobs, that's above the replacement number you got to hit just to kind of keep pace with population growth and attrition and so forth. 200,000 jobs in January. Good sign for the start of the year, isn't it? We put that question to our friend Scott Shalady. Scott the Cow Guy, Fox Business contributor. There he is. Scott, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning.
Morning. So are you, and you're not like a rosy optimist by disposition, are you excited about the January jobs numbers?
Yeah, things are looking better, Dan.
You
the biggest
sound
number
excited.
in this pack.
Yeah, be a little bit more excited.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I'll reread the news with a much lighter tone. How about this? The biggest numbers in here are the average hourly earnings. They're hot. We had 2.9% year over year, which is the most since 2009. That's a decent number, a really good number, actually. That's going to cause interest rates to tick up a little higher. And for all the newbies out there that are new to the market and probably bought these equities at much too higher prices anyway, that's going to cause the equity market to sell off here, even though we've got a very good jobs number across the board. So the revisions are higher. The hourly earnings are starting to move higher. We've been always worried about that because we had this 4.1% unemployment rate, and we weren't seeing the wages bump. But now that's starting to come through. So this is a very good report. This is a very strong, solid report.
Do you think, does Trump deserve credit? During his State of the Union address, he mentioned the lowest black unemployment rate since we've been keeping track of those numbers. And some analysts are saying, he does. Those numbers were falling even before he took office. Does he deserve credit for that?
Well, you have to take credit anytime you can, because if things were going badly, he'd be blamed, right? Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to have to take the blame when it's bad, I'm going to definitely try to take the credit when it's good, and I think that's what he's doing. Presidents generally, or almost always, would steer away from putting their name on the stock market. He hasn't had that issue at all. He's been putting his name all over the stock market, so now he's going to have to live and die by that sword. However, don't necessarily have that much to do with the markets and what their policies are. But this time is different. I really do believe that, and we can see that in how he got elected. We can see that in what happened with Brexit over in Europe. This time around is unprecedented, and we've seen such a fundamental change in sentiment that I haven't seen in a long time. It was only 18 months ago that we were mired in this low growth, low inflation, what are we going to do to get out of this molasses in January type issue. And he's been able to make some CEOs feel a little bit more rosier about the future. And I think that's got a lot to do with what these numbers are saying.
Right. It's a bit of an attitude readjustment. And then that attitude readjustment was reinforced by restraining government from regulating more and cutting taxes and encouraging repatriation of capital here. And so, it sort of builds on itself, it seems.
Yeah. And you know what, Dan, I've got an agricultural background and grew up on a farm. And I would only say that he's just brought common sense back into vogue. Yeah. There were times over the last 8 years with the last administration you think, how are they coming to this conclusion and why are they doing what they're doing? And finally, we've got a guy that says, hey, how about lower taxes? Hey, how about a big infrastructure spending plan? And hey, how about less regulation? And boom, you get 2.9% year-over-year growth in wages, largest since 2009. Those things are related.
So here's another question, and I'm asking you a loaded question, but There's been one thing that Trump didn't mention during his State of the Union speech was spending and reducing the size of government. And of course, we love the tax cut, but it's going to add $1 trillion to the federal debt over 10 years. Do the markets really not Dan is whining over here. Do the markets really not care? Are we moving into a direction where spending hawks and fiscal hawks are just we're not going to be talking about entitlement reform or the federal debt because the markets don't care?
They care a little bit, probably not like they used to, number one. And number two is that they're all going to cling to the Art Laffer theory that, once we do these things to the economy, hopefully it grows enough to pay for the money that we're spending. And I think that that's what everybody's going to kind of cling to on this, because it is so big and the changes are so massive that we better start to see the economy grow. And so far, look, the Atlanta Fed raised their expectations to 5.4% for GDP.
Yeah.
So, Art Laffer could be right on this one. He's been bullish this whole time, and he really believes that these tax cuts are going to be what really spurs on the economy. And if you get the economy to do what he thinks it's going to do, a lot of those things do get paid for.
So, at this point, though, where do you see? We see some rosy numbers for GDP growth, but is this the point where we there's going to be a pullback in the market, and I move all my offshore cash into Bitcoin or Elon Musk's pneumatic tubes or something?
Let's look at it with a little bit more rosier outlook, Dan. Let's just say that those that missed the move might have a chance to get in. How about that? That's what we can say. Because you're going to see rates rise, and that's going to start to compete with the stock market, right? We just had the 10-year Treasury yield go through 2.8% here this morning. And that's the velocity from 2.5 to 2.8 has been very, very quick, and that's going to cause some folks, a little concern. So there is money moving out of the equity market towards treasuries, putting them in bonds. There's going to be people taking some off the top here, and as we get more and more of this good news and more of this inflation sneaking into these reports, that's going to kind of put a top on equities in the short term. But man, look what just happened with the tech sector and the earnings that they had yesterday with Google and Amazon blowing the doors off things. So the economy's still doing well. We're just going to kill the equity market.
So let me ask you this question about the axis of evil, Bezos, Buffett, and Diamond. I'm kidding, not really, but they certainly were earlier in this week. The Berkshire Hathaway, J.P. Morgan, Amazon healthcare play. Obviously, that was not received well in the market with respect to healthcare companies, health insurance companies. How do you interpret what could be going on there and what impact those three could have on whatever it is they're scheming up?
Well, it's definitely going to hurt pharmacies. It's definitely going to hurt insurers. When that news broke, the insurers finished the day down 2.5% to 6%, and all the pharmacies were down about 5%. Rite Aid, Walgreens, and CVS. So, and the healthcare market is 20% of the economy. So there's going to be, that was the market's first wobble, because that is going to be great for us at the end. But it's going to hurt those companies in the middle, and that's part of the first moves we had with people taking some money off the table. But
Bezos and Amazon, he wants to get into pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, exactly right. But number one. But number two, let's remember what he did to the retail sector. It's not Amazon. We call it Amazapped, right? The retail sector was Amazapped, and now the healthcare sector is going to get Amazapped. So that's pretty much, when we boil it down, that's all you got.
So, Scott, here's a broader question. But with all the Russian probe and the memo news swirling, which I know that's not necessarily your area of expertise, but does the market react, and has it over time, to the ongoing Russia probe?
No, absolutely not. And I think the markets, the guys in the markets have known that Russia has tried to meddle for the last 40 years. It's nothing new. It's just an excuse. The markets care about lower taxes, less regulation, and infrastructure spending. And those things are starting to come to fruition, and the market's taking notice. And that's why you've seen these things come in a little hotter than expected. So that means inflation's on the rise, and that means the stock market's going to kind of take a little bit off the top here and reevaluate. But it's not bad for the economy at all.
Just picking up on that theme of how public policy can impact the markets. In these the immigration reform debates, particularly here, like in Chicago, you often get the business community, kind of the fat cat business community, to weigh in on the side of the left and essentially finding pathways to citizenship for people here illegally, more liberal laws on sanctuary, maybe not so far as sanctuary laws, but certainly things like driver's licenses or health insurance, things like that. They weigh in on behalf of immigrants because of the labor pool. Is immigration, any deal on DACA plus border security, is that something that has, or the lack of a deal, is that something that has the potential to be impactful?
No, not really. I mean, NAFTA would be much more impactful than that, or some sort of policy measure that has something to do with the economy. I mean, you've got the left that wants illegals for the votes and the right that wants illegals for the work, right? I mean, they both want them. And I don't think that either one will win that case. I think that that kind of cancels each other out, and the market's the market because of the three things I mentioned. It's really fundamentally coming down to the fact that we haven't had inflation, even though we've had such a low unemployment rate. And we're now starting to see those wages rise and inflation sneak back in, and that's going to make a difference to the overall economy. And these things are fantastic. Look at the earnings. I mean, the earnings are still great. So the economy looks good. The stock market definitely will come off from this, and that's a good thing, too, because you can't have everything go up forever without being healthy. So all in all, I think this is a fantastically solid report. It's a good base to build off of.
One more public policy, more directly the economic realm, trade policy. You just kind of referenced it, and the Trump tariffs on solar panels and washing machines, and potentially the renegotiation of trade deals like NAFTA, and where trade policy goes, the more perhaps in a more protectionist direction.
Yeah, well, you know what? The markets are 6 months out, right? So the stock market is a voting tool for 6 months from today. So it's trying to stay ahead, and I think that that's already digested anything that might come out of NAFTA or anything that might come out of any sort of tariffs or what's happened with China and the solar panels and the like. So I don't think that's affecting the markets at all here. The most important thing is, do we see inflation and do we see growth? And if those things are yes, and they are so far, the stock market's going to be the headline and not the trade deals or any tariffs.
He is Scott Shellady, Fox Business contributor. Scott, the cow guy. Scott, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right. See you later. Have a great weekend.
You too. And he joined us on Turnkey.pro Answer Line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
All right, your next trivia question. Who did the director want initially to play the lead role? Not Bill Murray. Who was it? I'll tell you later. For now, your forecast.
Brian Murray.
No. Your forecast. Cold with sunshine mixing with some clouds. High of 20 degrees. Tonight will drop to about 16. And tomorrow, a little bit of snow. So get ready for that. Let's see how the roads are with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Kristen. Good morning. Morning, Dan. Well, in most places, whether it's the cold or just being a Friday, it's a little lighter than usual on the expressways. Edens is 21 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound, it's 30. Kennedy, inbound delays start at Austin, 45 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 30 from Montrose, 25 in the express. Outbound, 34 minutes to O'Hare. On Eisenhower, 52 minutes, 390 to downtown, 37 from Manheim. Outbound, 32 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 52 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, 36. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 is wide open. Bishop Ford, 24 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Little heavy now on the eastbound Reagan Tollway from the Aurora Toll to Viola. Northbound Tri-State slow from the Stevenson to 47th, then approaching 290. Veterans Memorial stop and go, 75th from the Reagan Tollway. Little heavy on southbound 53 from Devon to 355. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Navigating Chicagoland terrain, the streets and highways in the winter weather is always a breeze, right? Wrong. Unless, of course, you're driving an award-winning Ford SUV or truck from Joe Cotton Ford. Now, more than ever is a great time for a new Ford. America's best-selling brand from Chicagoland's best Ford dealer, Joe Cotton Ford. Not only will you be conquering old man winter, but also getting the white glove treatment without all the hype and pressure you get from other dealers. You see, Joe Cotton Ford is a locally owned dealership that caters to families that keep coming back for generations because of the way they're treated and the Ford brand they can trust. Ready for a different car buying experience with world-class customer service? Then get to Joe Cotton Ford today and drive home your new Ford car, truck, or SUV and forget about not being able to get around town this winter. Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream or at joecottonford.com. joecottonford.com. AM 560's Passport to Paradise contest is open to any legal U.S. resident, age 18 or older. To enter, download the AM 560 mobile app and fill out the entry form between January 22nd and February 9th, 2018. One grand prize winner will be randomly chosen on February 12th and will receive a 7-night trip for two to Riviera Maya, Mexico, including round-trip airfare and a junior suite at the Secrets Maroma Beach Riviera, Cancun. Approximate retail value $3,334. Visit 560theanswer.com for complete rules.
True story. So I urged one of my family members to call CertaPro Painters. He didn't do it, and that painting crew had to come back 3 times to fix their awful, sloppy mistakes, even paint on the floor, if you can believe it. Well, with CertaPro Painters, you get the best in the business. The attention to detail, color selection is truly unmatched. And now is the perfect time to get the interior of your home or business painted. The lower humidity provides an ideal environment for great coverage and quick drying times. They use fine quality paints with 0 or low VOCs, very little to no odor during application. Be an early bird and cross the first item off your 2018 to-do list. It's also the perfect time to spruce up your commercial property. Remember, each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated, so schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with the C. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was always just sort of feeling tired. And so I said, maybe this will just help in overall vitality. But in the past couple of years that I've been taking it, I find my energy has been great. I've been sleeping better. I don't get the cravings for junk food as often as I used to. I really attribute it to the product. It's so easy to use. Even if I want to take a capsule for my daughter and I just pull it apart to mix it in some juice or something, it's just something I'm very grateful to be able to incorporate. I really love the product. I think it's made such a difference.
Generally feel better, generally have better energy and more stamina. Breathing is easier, walking is easier. You're not in pain anymore, all right? I could go on and on.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. Trump's proposal on DACA, summarily pronounced DOA by congressional Dems, improved the GOP's electoral chances in November bigly. Here's how. First, by seeing a path to citizenship for 800,000 DACA recipients and raising the Democrats $1 million more, Trump took Schumer's and Pelosi's mascots away from them. If you're offered the prospect of a path to citizenship, are you willing to pass on your chance to pursue the left's open borders fantasy? Second, by providing a path even for those who were eligible but didn't seek DACA designation, Trump outflanked the Democrats on the issues of fairness, good faith, and empathy. Third, Trump positioned himself with 70% of Americans on the immigration issues punch list, normalizing DACA designees, building the wall, prioritizing based on skills, and punishing sanctuary cities and states. Trump has put congressional Democrats in God's little acre. If they cut a deal, Trump is the pragmatic, reasonable businessman who got a decent bipartisan deal done. If they don't cut a deal, Trump is the pragmatic, reasonable businessman foiled by inflexible Democrats whom he met more than halfway. The art of this deal is Trump has painted Democrats into a corner.
If you save $500,000 in an IRA or 401k, you know it's not really $500,000, right? Because you still have to pay taxes on that money. But here's something that will shock you. Some people will pay through the nose in taxes when they withdraw money from their retirement accounts, while a smart and savvy few will legally pay far less. Could you potentially save thousands of dollars in taxes on your IRA or 401k and keep this money for yourself? Yes, you could. Learn how in a free report called 6 Ways to Tax-Free Income in Retirement from me, Tom Fortino, host of the Alpha Wealth Hour. The free report could save you tens of thousands of dollars. Call 630-873-6326. It's your choice. Pay the IRS or keep this money for yourself. Call 630-873-6326 or visit us on alphawealthgroup.com. That's alphawealthgroup.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
Sean Hannity is right. IRS problems can be devastating. I'm attorney Stephen Leahy, host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here on this station every Sunday evening at 5 o'clock. And I help business owners, 1099 employees, and those with unfiled tax returns solve their IRS problems. I know you want a local attorney you can look in the eye and hold accountable for solving your IRS problem, not some big box outfit without a Chicago connection. So if you fear the IRS will take your money, bank account, wages, or visit your home or job, and now they can take your passport, you need to hire me to solve your IRS problem for good. Today, I have a special bonus. If you are one of the first 25 to call and hire me to solve your IRS problem, we will prepare your 2017 tax returns for free. Call me, Attorney Stephen Leahy, your Chicago IRS answer man at 312-664-6649. Again, that's 312-664-6649. One more time, 312-664-6649. Or visit us on the web at chicagotaxteam.com. Don't wait. Call me now and get the IRS out of your business and your life for good.
Here's some great news. If you missed the deadline to sign up for health insurance, or more importantly, if you signed up for a plan that you're just not happy with, you still have a choice. It's called Medi-Share. Medi-Share is a Christian healthcare sharing program that's been around for 25 years, and they have hundreds of thousands of members all across the country. And get this, over the years, Medi-Share members have shared more than $1 billion of each other's medical bills. Best of all, you could save a lot of money with Medi-Share. The typical savings for a family is about $500 a month. Your savings could be more or less, but think about what you could do with that extra money. Think you're stuck with a high-cost health plan that doesn't have a lot to offer? Well, think again. You can join Medi-Share anytime, so call them today and check it out. Here's the number to find out more, and there's no pressure. They're super easy to talk to. 844-41-BIBLE. That's 844-41-BIBLE. 844-41-BIBLE.
AM 560, The Answer.
You excited about the Winter Olympics that start this month? Are you, Kristen? South Korea, right?
I am, yes.
I'll tell you what, they haven't started yet, but a record has already fallen.
Oh.
The record?
But the Olympics haven't begun, correct?
The numbers, the number of condoms distributed to Olympic athletes in the Olympic, 110,000 set to be given away. 110,000 condoms. There's one of them. Enough 37 per athlete.
What? Why? I'm confused.
Safety first.
Safety?
I mean,
is
from their perspective.
Is this like a bathhouse scenario, the Olympics all of a sudden, or just more proof that we've ruined South Korea?
We don't expect athletes to use them all, said an Olympics spokesman. But you always want to err on too many rather than too few.
Oh my gosh, that's silly.
All right, coming up, we'll revisit the memo hysteria and decide who's on Team USA, who's on Team Russia. But now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Van Dyke lawyers subpoena newspapers. Bulls trade Mirotic. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
More Americans have new jobs. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. There was a rise in hiring to start the year. Fox's Ginny Cosola details the Just Out report live.
And Dave, the job market was stronger than expected in January. 200,000 new jobs were created. The unemployment rate held steady at 4.1%. Workers finally are receiving a little more money. Average hourly earnings increased 2.9% over a year ago. That's the strongest annual increase since 2009. Among employers with the strongest hiring, construction companies, restaurants, and healthcare. Manufacturing businesses were also hiring. Dave?
Ginny, on Wall Street, stocks set to plunge, though. Futures down more than 200 for the Dow. We're still waiting for the expected release of that classified Republican memo alleging abuse of government surveillance.
Essentially circle the wagons around the White House, protect the president at all costs.
Adam Schiff, the top Democrat on the House Intel Committee, says the memo omits information, making it misleading. Now, it could come out today. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
That memo authored by Republicans on the House Intelligence Committee alleging FBI abuse of surveillance tools and an anti-Trump bias within the agency is likely to be released sometime today. Counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway.
This particular investigation has taken a lot of twists and turns, and it's led us to a few bad actors who had direct responsibility for an investigation about his political opponent.
The president is expected to transmit a letter back to the Intel Committee with no objections to its declassification this morning. Dave?
John, a British man who drove into Muslim worshippers near a London mosque last June, killing one, injuring a dozen, sentenced today to at least 43 years in prison. The judge told Darren Osborne his mind was poisoned by far-right ideas. It's Groundhog Day.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye.
That's in Pennsylvania, where Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow, meaning 6 more weeks of winter. Groundhogs in Ohio and Georgia forecast the same thing. Staten Island Chuck in New York, though, did not see his shadow. He predicts an early spring. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Well, he's from New York. We don't trust anybody from New York. 8 degrees above here in Chicago, where Woodstock Willie has predicted 6 more weeks of winter. Sunshine. At 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Police are still looking for the man accused of killing 5 women 10 years ago at a Lane Bryant store in southwest suburban Tinley Park. The St. Stephen Deacon and Martyr Church in Tinley Park is holding a memorial service today to mark the victims and the anniversary. Attorneys for the Chicago police officer charged with murdering Laquan McDonald making a push to move his trial out of Cook County. Meantime, Jason Van Dyke's legal team has subpoenaed several media outlets, including the Tribune and Sun-Times, seeking all published reports about the case as part of an effort to change venue. Illinois' tough gun law is being rolled back once again. The Supreme Court yesterday striking down the state's ban on carrying a gun within 1,000 feet of a park. The unanimous ruling says the law is too broad and doesn't allow a legal gun owner to walk or, in some cases, live near a park. Dan Biss moving up in the Democratic race for Illinois governor. A handful of new polls, one even released by J.B. Pritzker's campaign, puts Biss in solid second place. Voters will pick a candidate in March. Canucks over the Blackhawks, 4-2. Take 2 of the Bulls' Pelicans. Nikola Mirotic trade is a go. Niko Mirotic to New Orleans for Omar Ashik, the former Bull, and spare parts, along with a lightly protected first-round pick. That could be good. Big Ten hoops, Northwestern top Wisconsin, 60-52. The news service of Staples. Staples has low prices on the organizational solutions your business needs to clear the clutter and focus on the job at hand this year, like banker's boxes, file folders, storage bins. Less mess equals more success. Visit Staples.com for more. Staples Pro Time. 8:03 time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, stock futures are sharply lower. Investors are concerned about the possibility of inflation and higher interest rates. The Labor Department releases its monthly employment report today. It's believed the unemployment rate held steady at 4.1%, and the number of new jobs created is expected to rebound from weaker growth in December. 3 high-tech giants are continuing to set records with earnings. Business improved for Amazon, Alphabet parent company of Google, and Apple in the recent quarter. Apple was helped by charging more for the iPhone X. Amazon's Echo device sales were stronger than expected, and Alphabet's business also improved. The Wall Street Journal says Google handles 92% of all internet searches. Automaker Honda's earnings were triple what it earned last year. Honda's sales were up 13%. The Dow was up 37 yesterday. NASDAQ dropped 25. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder is frustrated with Congress.
All Republicans voted the same way. Therefore, they need to have 9 votes from you guys, from the Democrats. So how can you say the Republicans shut down the government? When all Republicans voted to keep the government open, they couldn't get 9 Democrats to agree. Is this thing... This thing is on. When you don't need a single vote from the other side, that's when you're in control.
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
It is 8:06. Let's get an update on the roads now in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. In Kenosha County, 94 westbound or northbound there in Kenosha County at 142. The on-ramp is blocked due to a crash. Edens is fine inbound, 19 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Southbound 25. Kennedy inbound heavy Lawrence to the Burns Circle, 51 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 40 from Montrose, 30 on the Express. The Ohio Feeder's backed up. Outbound 12 minutes to Montrose, 33 to O'Hare. About Eisenhower. Delays kicking at North Avenue. It is 54 minutes, 390 to downtown, 38 from Manheim. Outbound 39 to 390. Stevenson, 52 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 35. Bryan, 28 minutes, 95 to the Loop. Issue 4, 27 minutes, 80-94 to the Merge. Southbound Lakeshore Drive. Stop and go Bryn Mawr to North Avenue. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State slow from the Stevenson to 47th. From the Reagan Tollway to the Ike. Reagan Tollway slow from the Aurora Toll to Viola. Veterans Memorial, 75th to the Reagan Tollway. It's a crash southbound 53 right near 355 in the right lane. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, cold with sunshine mixing with some clouds, high 20. Tonight, mostly cloudy and seasonably cold, a low 16, but temperature will rise into the lower 20s overnight. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
5 at O'Hare, 7 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next with our friend Kristen McCreary sitting in with us this morning on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
I'll give you a winter prediction. It's going to be cold, it's going to be gray, and it's going to last you for the rest of your life.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning, Kristen McCreary of the Tribune editorial board. And let's take a cleansing break from the Team Russia, Team USA hysteria of the left, and to some extent the FBI, with respect to the release of the memo, which is still expected today, and do a little local wrap. Your colleague John Cass over at the Tribune there, Kristen.
Mm-hmm.
Writes about Paul Vallas and the possibility of Paul Vallas getting into this mayor's race, which, you know, we're talking about the governor's race, which is, of course, March 20 primary, November general. Well, the mayor's race, and this is not accidental, essentially runs concurrent because you've got a February 2019 primary election for mayor of the city of Chicago. So you got to think about these things at the same time. Paul Vallas asking Chicago, do you trust Rahm Emanuel? Let me put that question back to Paul Vallas. Should we trust Paul Vallas? Is that going to be a marked difference from Rahm Emanuel or any other Chicago Democrat who's governed this city or this state over the last half century? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. I will remind people that Paul Vallas volunteered to be Pat Quinn's running mate in 2014. So the idea, I know he wears this in the mind of some, this cloak of reformer, and he was some kind of miracle worker at CPS, which is totally belied by the actual results during his tenure at CPS. But also running, and he ran against Blagojevich in the primary for governor back in 2002 and lost, and then reappeared in 2014 to be Pat Quinn's lieutenant governor candidate. So is Paul Vallas represent some clean break from the way we've been doing things in Chicago or Illinois? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line.
So he does seem serious about running. As John points out, he went to the City Club luncheon, and that's really just a place to go and be seen. He was let go of his job overseeing Chicago State once they found out that he was exploring a run for mayor. He recently moved.
By the way, Chicago State,
city.
Another disaster.
Right, a disaster. I mean, he's really bounced around, so it's hard to say whether or not he has a long track record anywhere. He has a reputation of being someone sort of like your friend and mine, Steve Rauschenberger, former state senator who is kind of a budget wonk. That's his reputation. I don't know that Vallas has really earned it. While he was at CPS, he will be open to a lot of criticism over a pension deal where he borrowed from the pension funds and used some of that money for operating expenses. And then he says that the reason the funds are in such bad shape is once the funding level dropped below a certain point, I think they were 90% funded when he left the Chicago Teachers Fund, pension fund. And once it dropped below that, they were supposed to increase their payments into the pension fund, and they didn't, and by then he was gone. So, I mean, he left, I think, in 2001, and really under Vitale, the next 10, 15 years is when the spiral started to...
Yeah, but that's like Edgar's pension ramp.
I defend Edgar's pension ramp.
Yeah,
so,
well.
I mean, that's a separate issue. But
yeah, I mean, in other words, you're setting up the seeds for the death spiral that you're describing by essentially borrowing against tomorrow to pay for yesterday and hope that future politicians and administrators do the right thing. Well, that's the kind of naivete that has this as the worst governed state in the history of America. Right.
And I mean, CPS is a disaster. But so after he left it, and I guess his opponents will claim he left it in bad shape, and that's why CPS started on this borrowing binge. But that whole scoop and toss issue that has become sort of part of our mainstream dialogue now started at CPS, where you are borrowing money to pay off borrowed money. And they were using those funds for things like library books and, not capital expenditures, but day-to-day operations. No. And he will take some heat for that. The other big issue is I don't really think Chicago voters vote for mayor based on the city's finances, obviously. So if that's really the only card he brings to the table, or that's his strong point, I'm not sure that voters are all that. In fact, I am sure that voters don't care about that.
Well, so size up the field and its current potential. I mean, you've got him, and then you've got, exactly. You're laughing. You did a Danny Thomas spit take. Exactly.
Sorry,
I guess
that's water in my eye.
That's the commentary. Gary McCarthy. I mean, come on.
I can't even. I mean, that.
I can't even.
I can't even. I don't think that that's an actual legitimate campaign. I think he's enjoying the spotlight, but if he actually got in the race, I would be surprised.
Why?
What is he going to, who's his base? What's he going to run on? Just anti-Rom?
He's a Law and Order guy. He's going to do something things were going well under Gary McCarthy before you ran Gary McCarthy out of town on a rail. Gary McCarthy was getting the job done and reducing violent crime, and Gary McCarthy knows how to do that. And so he's going to make this city safe again, and then he's going to hire some, green eye shades guy like Vallis to, try and figure out the math.
Unless he's got this, it's okay. So this is my tinfoil hat moment. Okay, I admit, but it has struck me that it's possible he has some sort of smoking gun. This is Gary McCarthy on Rahm Emanuel over the Laquan McDonald
Let's
case.
hope,
because if he can, the mayor has, of course. Refuted the theory that it was a very known and well-known cover-up within City Hall. If Gary McCarthy, and he did have regular conversations with the mayor throughout his tenure, has something like that on the mayor, maybe he will get some momentum. But otherwise, I think he is viewed as much more of a caricature than a serious person.
I think that's right. I honestly, I'm not sure if he is not actually a cartoon.
He did a City Club speech once that I attended, and he actually makes a strong case for how almost that Heather McDonald line of question, like protecting police,
the war on cops,
war on cops, and how every time that they're going to a call, they are protecting victims of crime who are by and large minorities.
Yeah, that's right.
So he does, I don't think he's a thoughtless person, but I just think unless he has some golden ticket, I don't see him really mounting much of a campaign.
So do you see this right now, if you had to handicap it today, as sort of a rerun of 4 years ago with Rahm and a bunch of who's wildly unpopular, but you got a bunch of other people who, don't clear the credibility threshold, and so even if the collection of them force Rahm into a runoff, he'll make them less desirable, less credible than he is, and he'll put on his Mr. Fred Rogers cardigan sweater, talk about being nicer and kinder, and people will reelect him.
Yes.
That's
I mean,
what
I think you just summarized. I think after Laquan McDonald, he's been campaigning now for 6 or 8 months. He's taking the right steps to try to reach out to the minority community, etc. And one thing that Rahm does have among most Chicago voters, they view him as competent. And I think
it was just stunning. There's no basis for it.
I'm saying they view him as competent at the end of the day. And yes, the field of players who will mount a campaign against him will be viewed as incompetent.
Speaking of standing, interesting Morning Consult survey research out yesterday, finding, looking at the governors for re-election in 2018. Guess who is the most unpopular Republican incumbent governor in the country up for re-election in 2018?
How many guesses do I get?
One.
Governor Rauner.
That's the one. And it is not close.
What are you citing? What is this?
Morning Consult.
What is that?
It's a polling operation.
Oh, okay.
And they looked at them all, Democrats and Republicans. For just to do a little bit of comparison, some Republican governors up, Republicans and Democrats. Larry Hogan in Maryland. That's kind of a Democrat state historically, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
His fave-on-fave spread, plus 48. He's a Republican governor. Asa Hutchinson in Arkansas, plus 36. Henry McMaster in South Carolina, plus 29. Greg Abbott in Texas, plus 35. Doug Ducey in Arizona, plus 6. Pete Ricketts.
Yeah, how's he doing? I have not checked in on that.
Plus 26 in Nebraska.
Okay.
Kim Reynolds, Iowa, plus 15. Bruce Rauner, minus 24.
Ugh. Ooh.
Okay, so for the one Rauner argument that you have left, that he's a checkbook, we want to vote for a checkbook. He's the only one who can beat Pritzker. By the way, if Pritzker's the nominee, that's the We Ask America poll that has BIS closing into shouting distance of Pritzker, and it's just started. We got a long way to go.
20 points, is that shouting distance?
Well, that's Pritzker's poll. The We Ask America poll had it 28-17.
Okay.
To 11 for Kennedy.
All right.
So I think that Democrat primary is not over yet, but the argument of he's the only one who can win, he's the only one who can't. Bruce Rauner's the only one who can't.
Full disclosure, Dan is supporting Jeannie Ives.
As I say openly and notoriously all the time. If you haven't figured that out now, then you're not paying attention. There's only so much I can do. Sean in Elmwood Park.
You know, Dan, if he somehow retains this position, because Jeannie Ives should absolutely win, there's no question. The problem is these other pretend Republicans like Brady and Durkin with their button-down collars and their nonsense corruption they don't want you to look at. So if he somehow cons the morons in Illinois and they keep him in, one thing, I just hope he keeps that gargoyle, the political gargoyle wife of his, tucked away. I don't want to see her for the next 6 months. But back to Rahm Emanuel, I blame you again, because if you weren't busy looking for your next... Yeah, you're looking for your next beard wax. You think you're a skinny Karl Marx over there with your new beard playing with it. Just run for mayor. Just run for mayor. Because you know...
I'm a skinny Murray Rothbard. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, sure you are. You know as well as I do that the socialists have the same message with just a different face. All they're doing is, it's a different face. It's the same nonsense. This time it'll work. They don't want you to look at the money laundering scheme between their corrupt investment bankers that keep funneling money that we, the people, are paying 3 times the interest rates on. And by the way, who do those bankers support? Rauner, 7 foot of stupid. They like the system the way it is because they're making a fortune. And we're all bailing them out. But I'm down here on Naples Beach right now.
Put some clothes on.
And when
Nobody
you
wants
buy,
to see that.
when you buy from me, this is where we strategize. We walk together and we talk about how you can hedge your money against the Illinois property loss that's coming. Because believe me, these policies are going to lead to an implosion of Illinois dirt. You're already seeing it. Look at the commercial real estate. How many of it has a for rent sign? I like when they have the political sticker in there. Boykin. Go ahead, vote for it. Boykin's on every vacated business in Cook County. Yeah, keep him in there. He's doing a great job.
Oh, it's like Sean and
Thanks for the call, Sean.
Footprints in the sand.
Yeah.
Where were you? It was then that I carried you. Carry us, Sean.
Tommy in Oak Lawn. Hey, Tommy, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The that they asked Joe Kennedy III if he's ever going to run for president someday, and he said he'd drive off that bridge when he gets to it.
Oh, zing! Woo! Finally, we got a good Kennedy joke.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Real quick, the answer, who did the director want? Not Bill Murray, Tom Hanks.
Of course, Tom Hanks.
That was the first
He's going to play
choice.
Fred Rogers. You see that?
I don't like that. I don't like that casting.
He's every role.
I know. Today, cold with sunshine mixing with some clouds.
Did you ever
high
hear
of
the
20.
Paul Mooney joke?
No.
Paul Mooney on the Chappelle Show?
No.
So let me get this straight. You got Brad Pitt as the Mexican. You got Tom Cruise as the Last Samurai. I got an idea for a movie, Hollywood. How about The Last Black Man on Earth starring Tom Hanks?
Oh, God, exactly. And tomorrow, mostly cloudy, not as cold, and some snow. And now to traffic.
Thanks, Kristen. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. On northbound Tri-State Tollway, got a little bit of a delay from Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis, then it's slow Ogden to 31st. Eastbound Reagan Tollway slow from the Aurora Toll to Wyola. Veterans Memorial heavy, 63rd to the Reagan Tollway. The tollways are lighter than usual. Southbound 53, it's heavy. Easterfield to 355. It's a crash there in the right lane. Eden's 19 minutes, like Cook to Montrose. Outbound 25. Kennedy, 51 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Quicker than the express. Outbound 33 minutes to O'Hare. Eisenhower, 54 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 39. Stevenson, 52 minutes, 355 to the drive, outbound 35. The Ryan is 28 minutes, 95 to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Year after every new year, you make the same resolutions for yourself, hoping that one of these times they just might stick. You know, the whole new year, new you thing. You're gonna lose weight, quit smoking, eat better, find the love of your life. Well, best of luck to you. How about a resolution that can really happen? One for your business's computer and IT network. It's a goal that can be accomplished and realized instantly with the help of Turnkey IT. 2018 is poised for growth. You can't afford to let your business become sidetracked by poor IT assistance or dated computer hardware or software. Remember, in the changing world of IT, what you upgraded a few years ago may not cut it in the new year. One of the biggest parts of your business infrastructure is your IT network. And if that's not right, the impact can cost you a lot of money. Make your resolution today. Be ready to handle the growth expected in 2018 with your business backbone supported by Turnkey IT.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had this crazy thing happen with my eyesight. I went back to get my contact lenses done, and my optometrist, and I'm 46, he said, "This is really weird, but your eyesight is better." I'm like, I can't believe it, but I think it's these vitamins I'm taking.
I'm a huge believer in the product. I've tried lots of stuff, and this is the only real thing that I've ever, because of all these comparisons with all the other stuff I've had, this is by far the best thing, and consistently.
We're so healthy now on the Balance of Nature. There's no words to say how well it works.
Doing good on it, really. I'm feeling my skin is softer, and I feel good.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
When you run your own business, you know that time equals money. It's not just an old saying, it's a fact. So why waste your valuable time dealing with issues that LegalZoom can help with? You may already know that over 2 million people have used LegalZoom to start their businesses. But LegalZoom services don't end there. Running a business comes with taxes, contracts, hiring employees, basically a lot of fine print. That's why LegalZoom built a network of independent attorneys licensed in all 50 states. They can provide the advice you need to get through the daily grind of running your business. And you don't have to worry about billable hours, since LegalZoom isn't a law firm. Instead, you can count on upfront pricing and clarity. So invest your time and money in growing your business, and let LegalZoom help out with the legal stuff. For special savings, be sure to enter promo code BRILLIANT in the referral box at checkout. That's promo code BRILLIANT for special savings only at LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Amanda Zanger, owner of Black Industrial and Safety Supply in Hammond, Indiana, and a business customer of Signature Bank. Prior to owning my own business, I worked for a major financial institution. So when it came time to finance the acquisition of Black, I approached a big bank, only to receive a solid no. That's when Signature Bank stepped in. With Signature Bank, the process was different. Signature provided creative financing options that enabled me to purchase Black and continue to grow the business. Thanks to Signature Bank, Black Industrial is able to continue serving Fortune 500 industry fabricators and contractors with tools and safety supplies as we have since 1893.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, we got a couple of calls about our little discussion about Chicago and the state of Illinois politics. Dan in Palos Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning. Just a couple things I wanted to say. First of all, Rauner, he said what he had to get in, and then once he got in, he just rode the gravy train. He hasn't done anything. And as far as Pritzker's concerned, do we really want another jailed governor? I mean,
speaking of the
with
gravy
FBI
train,
probe?
Pritzker. Literally.
No.
Gravy boat for Pritzker.
Right. But as far as Jeannie Ives, I talked to her, last week, and, I was asking her questions. So I can tell you, she supports Trump. She's against sanctuary cities. And then I asked her, what would you do to reach over to the Democrats to try to, get their votes to win this thing? And she said that she would try to bring business back, get people jobs, because basically the economy is what bridges the parties. When people got money, that's when they're happy.
Thanks for the call, Dan. Appreciate it. Mike in Wilmington.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, yeah, I listen to your show all the time.
Thank you.
I agree with the last caller, but something that I thought Rauner said was, hey, if I don't do the job, I won't run again. He hasn't done the job. What business has he got running again? Right there.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Good question.
I think he actually said when he was a candidate the first time that he would govern as a one-term governor.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember being a little surprised.
He's going to be.
Well, I mean, he was going to take risks is what he was saying. He was going to do what was right. He was going to take risks. He wasn't going to be focused on re-election. And then about 2 years in, he was in a Tribune editorial board meeting where he was already talking about running for re-election, which surprised me a little bit. But I guess I believed him that the first time around he was not necessarily in for two.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Because it changes it changes everything when you are in campaign mode.
I think that's a good point. And there was a lot of people who were sold a bill of goods. And now you have a chance to rectify that. That's why we have primary elections. Okay. March 20th.
Okay.
That's my position.
We know.
I'm just restating it.
Okay.
Restating it for the record.
All right.
All this is transcribed and sent around to important people.
I see. Really? Transcriptions. I hope the condom segment is included.
By the way, text from Andy Davis's bowling ball on that topic. 37 condoms for each Olympic athlete. They're staying there for 50 years?
No, he said, as a happily married man, I project that to be a 50-year supply.
Yeah.
37 condoms over 50 years.
Coming up, Henry...
Not even every year for your birthday, Ann B. Davis's bowling ball? Come on.
Stay out of his personal life.
Okay.
Coming up, Henry Kissinger says, avoid the temptation for a preemptive strike on North Korea. President Trump will ask Clifford May, the president of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies, what he thinks at 8:38. But now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
In Chicago, 7 degrees. We have clouds and sunshine and some developments from the courtroom where Dr. Larry Nassar is hearing again from his victims. Apparently that sentencing is being halted at the moment after the father of one of the victims attacked the former MSU, Michigan State University, and USA Gymnastics team doctor. In a Michigan courtroom just a few minutes ago, the father of Ray Margraves asked the judge for 5 minutes alone in a room with Nassar. When the judge declined, he ran at Nassar. Deputies had to finally tackle him and drag him away from Larry Nassar. The U.S. economy added 200,000 jobs in January. That was well above expectations. Republican drafted memo alleging bias against President Trump by the FBI could be released today. U.S. Senator from Indiana Joe Donnelly taking a wait-and-see position on the GOP memo.
I have great faith in the FBI. I have great faith in the law enforcement community. For them, we do almost anything. And so I'm going to just follow the evidence, follow what happens here.
Here are other stories we're following this morning. 900 miners trapped in a South African gold mine since Wednesday have been freed this morning. A young girl faces charges for an accidental shooting at a Los Angeles area school. The 12-year-old is being charged. Police are looking for the man accused of killing 5 women 10 years ago at a Lane Bryant store in Tinley Park. Authorities have released a new 3D image yesterday of a potential suspect. Chicago Cardinal Blaise Cupich is bringing in a retired FBI agent to head the anti-violence initiative he launched last year. Phil Andrew has been named to that position. An independent study of Cook County's property assessment system that could prove very politically troublesome for Assessor Joe Barrios is being delayed till the end of February. Barrios is also the Cook County Democratic Party chairman, faces 2 primary opponents, but by the time the study is released, early voting will have already begun. Blackhawks fall to the Canucks 4-2 last night. The Bulls make that Nico Mirotic trade with the Pelicans. College hoops last night, Northwestern top Wisconsin 60-52. The news service of Geico Insurance. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today. See how much you could save. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher reacts to the State of the Union.
Real simple takeaway. If you weren't impressed by the president's speech, not just the delivery, but the message, what was contained, the spirit of the message, the direction of the country, the State of the Union, if you weren't impressed, then it's real simple. Your lack of objectivity blinds you from the truth.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Nobody should have to live with depression. Not anymore.
It's a new year. Time for a new you.
Abilify, Wellbutrin, Seroquel, Rexulti. These are common drugs prescribed for depression. You may be able to get off the drugs and the endless counseling. You've heard about the revolutionary TMS therapy.
Now it's time to get a free consultation from HPR Centers.
And your frustration with life and relationships. In a few short weeks, your life will change. It's FDA cleared, safe, and it's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross Blue Shield and Medicare. TMS therapy treats the cause of your depression. Millions have been treated. The results, nothing short of outstanding. HPR Centers are proud to bring TMS therapy to Chicagoland and Milwaukee.
You need to take the first step. Call.
The war on depression is over.
You win.
HPR Centers.
800-604-0208. 800-604-0208.
Go to endmydepression.com.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. Who would win a 3-mile bicycle race, an 11-year-old girl or last year's winner of the Tour de France? It all depends on the bicycle. It depends on their vehicle. Both on a 10-speed and the pro racer is going to win every time. But put the racer on a tricycle and the 11-year-old wins every time. You see, it's not the driver, it's the vehicle. When it comes to generating revenue, it's exactly the same. If you have a job or a small business, you are riding a tricycle. You can only go so fast. If you need to make up lost ground, it's not going to happen on a tricycle. No matter how fast you pedal, it's simply not going to win the race. Why do many people with no schooling and no advanced degree often become very wealthy? Simple. They choose to only ride 10 speeds. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss when it comes to putting people on a 10-speed. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
It is 8:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonti.
Thanks, Mike. Kennedy Expressway inbound is heavy Montrose to Randolph. 52 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 42 from Montrose, 36 in the Express. Outbound 10 minutes to Montrose, 28 to the airport. Edens is 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 24. Eisenhower. Delays are from 9th Avenue to the Burns Circle. 53 minutes, 390 to downtown. 40 from Manheim. Outbound 38 minutes to 390. Mount Stevenson, 54 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound now clear. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 20 minutes, 80-94 to the Verge. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, heavy Montrose to North Avenue. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State, really bottled up from the Stevenson to 31st. Other than that, it's fine. Adams and Reagan tollways are good. Northbound Veterans Memorial, a little sluggish Maple to the Reagan Tollway. Southbound 53, slow Biesterfield to 355 after a crash. Northwest Indiana looks good. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Cold day ahead, sunshine mixing with some clouds. We'll top out at 20. Cloudy, seasonably cold, and 16 overnight. Currently 7 above. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next with our friend Kristen McCreary sitting in with us this morning on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, before you read about it on Facebook or Twitter, or hear about it from your friends, find out what today's big stories really mean with me, Sean Hannity, today at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I got to tell you, this tweet from Jim Comey yesterday is really something. This guy is a piece of work. All should appreciate the FBI speaking up. This, of course, related to opposing the release of the Nunes memo. I wish more of our leaders would, but take heart. American history shows that in the long run, weasels and liars never hold the field so long as good people stand up. Not a lot of schools or streets named for Joe McCarthy. Well, former Director Comey, then that's one thing you'll have in common with Joe McCarthy. One other thing you have in common with him is your sanctimonious gas bag, who uses beatitudinal lingo to cover up for his bull jive.
Do you want to hear Trump's response? I'm going to assume this is a response. He tweeted 3 hours ago, the top leadership and investigators of the FBI and the Justice Department have politicized the sacred investigative process in favor of Democrats and against Republicans, something which would have been unthinkable just a short time ago. Rank and file are great people.
The other thing is, who are the 21st century McCarthyites? John Heilman talking on MSNBC about how Paul Ryan is now a member of Team Russia because everybody who's on Team Nunes is on Team Trump, which means you're on Team Russia. Who is inducing the Red Scare? The right? Or is it the red diaper babies, like the actual red diaper babies, like David Axelrod and all of these leftists and Dick Blumenthal? And who wants to have everybody in the Republican Party put in prison for obstruction of justice and let somebody get sorted out later. It's absurd. I love Comey invoking McCarthy.
The other Trump tweet, back to back from the last one. You had Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party try to hide the fact that they gave money to GPS Fusion to create a dossier which was used by their allies in the Obama administration to convince a court, misleadingly by all accounts, to spy on the Trump team.
Team Russia. That's the response. All right, we want to get a response to some of what President Trump had to say this week at a State of the Union address in the international arena with threats to national security. Obviously, the indelible moment for me, and I think for a lot of people, and I think this will be an indelible moment for all time, that young man from North Korea holding his crutches up as a symbol of freedom and a defiance to the totalitarian North Korean regime. Incredible, unbelievable story, and such a moment during his State of the Union address. But, of course, this underscores policy choices that this administration has to make. And Henry Kissinger has said recently there's going to be a temptation to launch a preemptive strike to prevent North Korea from going nuclear, and Trump should resist that temptation unless and until he could get buy-in from Russia and China, or at least a significant portion of the Asian world. It's one of the threats we face, and that's one opinion on it. Let's get some others, like from Clifford May, who joins us now. Cliff May is the founder and president of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. Cliff, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Pleasure to be with you.
What do you make of Kissinger's recommendation?
Well,
Kissinger's right to urge caution. On the other hand, an excess of caution over the past 25 years has allowed this communist dynasty, the only communist dynasty in the world, to get where it is today, which is to say it has nuclear weapons and increasingly sophisticated missiles. And if something is not done, it will soon have the power to vaporize an American city. I think what the policy that's been announced by the Trump administration is basically correct, although I don't think it's been pursued as vigorously as necessary. That policy is called maximum pressure. We have sanctioned North Korea, but not nearly enough. We need to get it to the point where young Kim Jong-un, who, as you know, is the pudgy 30-something dictator with a bad street gang haircut, understands that we have the power and we have the will to totally collapse his economy. And at the same time that we're doing that, he should all...
Oh, no.
We lost Cliff May.
Oh, come back, Cliff.
All right, we'll effort to get Cliff May back. Apparently, Kim Jong-un didn't like being called pudgy and didn't like... I tell you, he's very sensitive about the haircut. He and Trey Gowdy. Just don't talk about the haircut. You just got to take a pass on that.
Yeah, I understand.
Well, you're right. And so the question is, by the way, don't the maximum pressure, Trump's foreign policy, the NSA document, strategic document, principled realism? I love it. They all sound like action movies, like summer blockbusters. how we describe foreign policy or particular approaches to particular bad actors like North Korea. All right, we're going to effort to get Cliff May back on because we got to talk a little bit more about North Korea and also the Iran deal and how Trump is going to renegotiate that, or at least how he should. We'll do that momentarily.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Okay, your last trivia question real quick. True or false? You can think about it. Did Bill Murray actually get bitten by the groundhog during filming of the movie, and did he have to get rabies shots? You can think about that while I do the math. Okay, you're right. It's true. Ow! Whoa! Took me off guard there. Today, cold with sunshine mixing with some clouds, high of 20 degrees. Tonight, mostly cloudy and seasonably cold, dropping into the teens. And tomorrow, a little snow in the afternoon, but also frigid. Let's get a check of the roads with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Kristen and Dan. Well, it's cold, but the traffic isn't too bad except for a few hot spots here and there. Southbound 53. We've got a jam. Beesterfield to 355. Got a crash. Been there a while, still blocking the right lane. Inbound Edens, 20 minutes Lake Hook to Montrose. Outbound 24, Kennedy. Inbound delay start at Montrose. 52 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown. Little quicker in the express. Outbound 28 to the airport. On Eisenhower, 53 minutes, 390 to downtown. 40 from Manheim. Outbound 38 to 390. Stevenson, 54 minutes, 355 to the drive. The Rhine is 30 minutes, 95 to downtown. Tri-State, northbound, heavy. To Stevenson to 31st. Northbound Veterans Memorial, little tight. Maple to the Reagan Tollway. The other tollways are all fine. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
As a parent, you want what's best for your children. That means sending them to a school where they'll get the superior education they deserve, and that also shares your values. That can be tricky these days, as public schools have changed and private schools can be expensive. Your household budget has already been cut to the bone, and it's hard to imagine where you'll find that extra money. Well, there's help to lessen that financial burden and provide your child with the very best education at half the cost. At AM 560 The Answer, we work with private schools throughout the Chicagoland area to provide tuition for families at half the normal cost. Just log on to halfpriceschools.com and you'll find some of Chicagoland's finest private schools, from preschool all the way through high school, at half the cost. And chances are there's a school right in your neighborhood. Invest in your child's education and future at halfpriceschools.com. A limited number of half-price vouchers are available. Go to halfpriceschools.com now.
Hi, I'm Andrea Kashaba, owner of Tulane & Associates, an accounting and tax service in Elk Grove Village. If you're a small business, feeling snubbed or overcharged by your current accounting firm, I invite you to give us a try. You shouldn't have to feel overlooked by your current tax accountant because you're a small business. Small businesses and individuals are my specialty. I will always treat you and your business with respect, and we'll take care of as much or as little as you'd like us to do. From payroll to sales taxes, financial statements to business and personal taxes, projections, or bookkeeping services. Call Tulane & Associates at 847-952-1510 or visit TulaneandAssociates.com. That's THULIN, Tulane & Associates. Get a no-cost 1-hour initial consultation that could change the way you do business. Call 847-952-1510. That's 847-952-1510.
Do you have sleep apnea? Are you tired of dragging your big, bulky CPAP device with you whenever you leave home? Yeah, well, I was too. That's why I'm so glad I called to try the Transcend Mini CPAP for 10 nights. I can't imagine living without it now. My Transcend is about as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. That's less hassle to carry than my shaving kit. Plus, I was able to add a battery pack that's as tiny as a deck of cards. But hey, that's not all. Transcend is FAA compliant too, which means I can finally sleep comfortably while flying. Heck, I can sleep comfortably anywhere now. So if that all sounds good to you, call now to give Transcend a try. You'll be glad you did.
Now you can try Transcend and sleep comfortably for 10 restful nights with a money-back guarantee. Just pay return shipping. So call minicpap.com now. 1-800-300-6551. Again, that's 1-800-300-6551. 1-800-300-6551.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Kristen McQuarrie, Chicago Tribune Ed Board member, in for Amy this morning. And, all right, we got Clifford May, president and founder of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracy, is back. Listen, Cliff, don't make fun of Kim Jong-un's haircut. He'll jam our signal. So just stay away from the haircut, and I think we're good. We were talking about North Korea before we dropped you, and you were just suggesting that there is maximum pressure strategy that the Trump administration is pursuing with respect to North Korea, but maybe not as vigorously as it should be.
Exactly. It needs to be much more. Kim Jong-un needs to see that we have the will, we have the determination, we have the means to totally collapse his economy. If he sees that, and he also believes that we do have military options, not great military options, but we have powerful ones, then he may decide it's in his interest to sit down and negotiate seriously. Then, with that kind of pressure behind us, our diplomats, then they'll be able to speak from a position of strength. I think that's the only way to go.
And the other topic that the president touched on in the State of the Union, and again, all of it was kind of top-line stuff, but the Iran nuclear deal and what is to be done about that. Even within his own administration, there are those on his national security team that want to preserve it in some form or fashion, even though the president has called it the worst international agreement the United States has ever entered into. So the way forward with respect to a nuclear Iran or preventing one.
There's some discussion, some debate, not entire agreement, but basically his team is pretty much on board with what he's doing. And what he's doing is he's saying, look, this is a fundamentally flawed agreement. It has sunset clauses that will allow, just a few years down the road, Iran to be a legitimate member of the nuclear club, even if it is then what it is now, the leading state sponsor of terrorism in the world. This agreement doesn't allow any inspection of military sites, as if that's not a place that Iran would be doing nuclear weapons development. This agreement doesn't do anything about the continuing development of missiles that can deliver nuclear warheads to the United States. He is saying to Congress and to the Europeans, fix the agreement. Make it better. There are things we know that are wrong with it. You know that are wrong with it. See if the Iranians will fix it. If you can fix it, fine. If you can't, I will nix it. Then I will terminate it, and we will do something else. That's the path he's on. I think it's probably a smart path.
Could you weigh in on the issue with the memo and just NSA domestic surveillance in general? The Republican Party at different times has taken really strong positions on the need for innocent people to be protected from unnecessary surveillance activities, and that's at the heart of what the memo gets at. What is your position on whether or not it should be released and what it might say?
Well, this is not quite my bailiwick, but I only say this. More transparency is generally better than less, and particularly in this case, let's see what the memo says. Let's see what happened here. I think there's reason to be dubious if the Steele dossier, which may have been very influenced by the Russians, was used to get FISA warrants to look at a campaign, a presidential campaign that was ongoing. I think there's a lot we need to know, and I think we're better off knowing it than not. I think those who say, this is an attack on the FBI and law enforcement, that has a whiff of desperation to it. There may be some bad eggs, some bad apples, some bad within the FBI, and some bad things may have been done in this election. If so, we're best off knowing about it and cleaning house.
During the State of the Union, there was a number of remarkable moments. The Congressional Black Caucus not wanting to applaud historically low black unemployment, not wanting to applaud a reference to the national anthem, and I wouldn't normally point out applauding or standing, but it's so pro forma with the State of the Union. It's such a signal of what you support and what you don't support that it's hard to mistake. And in the international sphere, when Trump tackled some of these issues, the discussion of sanctions against Cuba and Venezuela, two rogue countries, dictatorships, Venezuela literally coming apart at the seams, starving its own people. And Democrats wouldn't applaud sanctions on repressive regimes like the Venezuelans or the Cubans, in addition to supporting those that are protesting the mullahs in Iran. It's sort of remarkable to see the division in terms of worldview between the two parties with respect to those countries, wasn't it?
It is, and it's part of the decision by the far left within the Democratic Party that they're not to cooperate in any way with this administration, to push out the idea that this is not a legitimate administration, and to be in what they call the resistance. It's a terrible metaphor. The resistance, those are the French who wouldn't kowtow to the Nazis when France was occupied. To use a phrase like that is bad. And I think there are plenty of Democrats who don't want to do that, but they fear the left. And so, they might have thought, I should applaud the fact of low black and Hispanic unemployment. I should applaud the fact that we're getting tough on a regime like that in Venezuela, maybe even Cuba. Of course, President Obama reached out to Cuba, reestablished diplomatic relations, gave the Castro brothers pretty much everything they'd wanted for years, got nothing whatsoever in return except a picture of himself with Che Guevara, a Che Guevara poster behind him. I understand they don't want to applaud because that would be an insult to Obama for what he did, but it's clear that Obama's foreign policy in regard to Cuba, in regard to Iran, in regard to North Korea, in regard to the Middle East, in regard to Syria, where we have 500,000 dead and 10 times that many refugees, these were failures. People don't want to admit that on the Democratic side of the aisle, but they were. And I think that's just demonstrable.
He is Clifford May, founder and president of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. Cliff, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he joined us on Turnkey.Pro Answer Line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was surprised at myself how much energy I had, and I'm doing 2 jobs, running around like a maniac, and I was able to handle it. Really, I'm like, wow, this stuff is really good. So, more than anything else, it just gave me the extra energy and the well-being, feeling of well-being that I don't think I would have without it.
Well, I take it every day, and I feel great. And my wife looks at me and says, how come you never get sick? And I do. It's because I take the fruits and veggies.
I just feel a lot better. My life is turned around. Everything is working for me.
It just helps me feel good. I just think the products are wonderful, and I take them every day. I just like it. It works.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
When you run your own business, you know that time equals money. It's not just an old saying, it's a fact. So why waste your valuable time dealing with issues that LegalZoom can help with? You may already know that over 2 million people have used LegalZoom to start their businesses. But LegalZoom services don't end there. Running a business comes with taxes, contracts, hiring employees, basically a lot of fine print. That's why LegalZoom built a network of independent attorneys licensed in all 50 states. They can provide the advice you need to get through the daily grind of running your business. And you don't have to worry about billable hours, since LegalZoom isn't a law firm. Instead, you can count on upfront pricing and clarity. So invest your time and money in growing your business and let LegalZoom help out with the legal stuff. For special savings, be sure to enter promo code BRILLIANT in the referral box at checkout. That's promo code BRILLIANT for special savings only at LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom.com.
A leaky roof is not good for your home or business. Need repair?
Call Crumweedy.
Call Crumweedy to fix your roof or to book your new roof now so you're ready for the storms of the new year. And get a luxury vacation for two, cruise or resort with a qualifying purchase.
Woohoo!
A great roof, siding, or windows, and a vacation.
This is Mark Olson
and Greg Olson of Crumweedy,
a third-generation family business.
We're conservative just like you.
The difference is installation.
Hey, we know that. That's why we follow the manufacturer specifications, so your warranty is totally intact.
A lot of companies don't do that, and that could void your warranty.
Hate the high pressure?
Not from us.
We give you multiple options, then you choose.
A roof that lasts at a fair price.
We fix roof problems.
When your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
myroofisneedy.com. Hey, do it now.
Crumweedy. We fix roof problems.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
If you're young and healthy, you don't need life insurance, right? Yeah, that's what I used to think too, until my brother died at 38. Joe left his wife with 2 kids, a mortgage, and a stack of bills she couldn't pay. Mary had to sell the house and move everybody into this tiny 2-bedroom apartment just to make ends meet. I never want to do that to my wife, so I got life insurance. I called AIG Direct and was really surprised how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. Listen, if you have a family, you should seriously think about getting life insurance. You'll feel a lot better having it, trust me.
Call AIG Direct for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you could save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-600-5451. That's 1-800-600-5451. 1-800-600-5451.
AM 560, The Answer.
Maggie? Well, Christopher Cross to close out the week.
Oh, one of my favorites.
He's coming to Chicago. I think he's going to be at City Winery.
Sailing is like
maybe
on
in
my
March.
iPad.
Or it's coming up. I got to check it again because I want to see that show.
I love him.
And we loved having you here the last 2 days. Kristen McQuarrie, Chicago Tribune editorial board, ably filling in for Amy, who's under the weather.
I really think Dan wants the kidney stone to make it into a piece of jewelry, Amy, if you're listening, so bring it.
That's so disgusting.
Bring it in.
That's so disgusting.
She wanted Mike Scott's appendix.
Well, an appendix
So
is
you
an
can
appropriate
each-
accessory.
You can share all of your...
A kidney stone, no.
Okay.
Kristen, thanks so much, and thanks everybody for tuning in. Have a great weekend. We turn it over to Mike Scott.
You're right, March 31, Christopher Cross City Winery, if you're interested in tickets, March 31. 8 degrees now. Details on what's happening with the memo coming up from Fox News. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.